This is a 1995 Honda Accord. It's a comfortable mid-size family sedan. This is what it looks like next to a 1995 Honda Civic. This is what the 1995 Honda Accord looks like next to a 2025 Honda Civic. Why did cars get so big? Surprisingly, the last 20 years isn't the first time we've had massive cars. In the 1950s, bigger was better. After World War II, we had cheap fuel, growing families, and no worries about efficiently producing cars. Like, you could literally find coins in your couch cushions and get a full tank of gas. Cars were getting longer, wider, more powerful, and more luxurious. Having a big car was a status symbol. By the early 1970s, many American sedans were over 18 feet long, which is roughly the same size as a 2025 F-150 Super Crew. They were badass, heavy, and super comfortable. Like, dude, look at the Chevrolet Bel Air. When I think of a car from the 50s, this is the first one that comes to mind. They're super colorful big cars and just make whoever's driving it look really cool. Then Cadillac made the Eldorado, which actually looks like a Batmobile. You're either gonna see a car like this at a drive-in restaurant or in like Nuketown. There were just cool cars everywhere at this point. We have the 60s Mustang, the Pontiac GTO, the Dodge Charger, and so many other badass cars, which were all huge. People were going crazy over these cars as well. Unfortunately, the fun had to come to an end. The oil crisis of 1973 changed everything. Basically, oil nearly quadrupled in price within a super short amount of time, which made everything boring. When the price of fuel went up, all of a sudden, it wasn't that cool to have a land yacht. People started to care more about fuel economy, reliability, and even the cost of a car up front. Massive American sedans did not check any of those boxes at all, which is where the small Japanese cars came along. Honda brought us the slow, cheap, and reliable Honda Civic, while Toyota gave us the Corolla. These cars were actually about as slow and boring as shit. It's not like people were choosing to drive a Civic or a Corolla over a Mustang. They needed to. 40 miles a gallon was revolutionary compared to the 10 or 15 miles a gallon you could get from American sedans. Not worrying about your car starting in the morning was also a plus. They were also surprisingly comfortable for city driving, since you didn't have to worry about hucking a 20-foot car around a corner. The more popular Japanese cars got, the less popular American cars got. People started to actually notice how nice the build quality of Japanese cars were. They were reliable, efficiently built, and set a new standard for a daily driver. When you look at American cars of the time next to Japanese ones, the difference in quality is pretty clear. After American automakers started to see how much people like Japanese cars like the Datsun 510, they decided they needed to tap in. GM rushed to produce a smaller American car and came up with the Chevrolet Vega. This thing was completely awesome on paper. It's a really nice looking car. They were lightweight, had good fuel economy, and were affordable. Again, on paper. In reality, this shit just decomposed. The Vega actually had insane rust issues and was a reliability nightmare. The engine would overheat, the car chugged oil, and it was just a piece of shit. The issue wasn't only bad engineering, GM just cut corners and rushed the whole process to make something to compete with the Japanese options. Ford tried to fill the void by making the Pinto, which was also rushed, but the main issue is that it would actually just blow up. Speaking of blowing up, let's fast forward like 10 years. In the 1990s, safety became important all of a sudden. It became mandatory for cars to have airbags, stronger crash structures, more electrical, a whole lot of other bullshit. Well, I guess it wasn't really bullshit because the fatality rate dropped like 35%. Anyway, cars got boring and safe. These safety features added a decent amount of weight and size to the cars. So basically in the 50s, people cared about having a badass car, and then in the 90s, they cared about their family surviving or whatever. Volvo was one of the cars that made people start viewing safety as a luxury feature. The Volvo 850 looks about as cool as shit, and you just can't die while you're driving one. The 90s Accord had a bunch of new safety features and became even more popular. Finally, the US locked in and made the Ford Taurus, which was safe and practical. This kind of seems like the sweet spot, right? Around this time, cars were a good size, they were safe, they were reasonably raw, although it was around this time that more emissions regulations were enforced, and that was kind of boring and also made cars a bit more expensive to produce. This is where things get interesting though. SUVs used to be just for park rangers or driving on rough terrain, or dudes who go fly fishing on on the weekend. But then automakers found this loophole that would print them cash. They realized that under US regulations, SUVs were considered light trucks, not cars. Trucks didn't have to meet the same fuel economy and safety regulations as cars, which meant these greedy automakers could simply drop a fat car on a cheap truck frame to make the most profitable vehicle possible. They basically sold it to suburban moms as a safer option for transporting their family. Better yet, the government didn't even give a shit about emissions or safety regulations because this thing was technically a truck. So people saw these fat cars on cheap truck frames and absolutely ate that shit up. SUVs became the new normal, and you basically saw these things everywhere. So daily traffic basically consisted of those normal sized cars from the 90s that I was talking about, and then just some absolute elephants like the Ford Explorer. Eventually, the people who got SUVs started to realize that it was kind of a pain in the ass to drive a truck everywhere. They rode rough, they handled like shopping carts with a broken wheel, and completely drank fuel. So in the late 90s and early 2000s, automakers designed the vehicle that made everything big, the crossover. So let's take a step back. People loved the SUV because they felt safer, you sit up higher, and they're capable of getting over rough terrain. But people also loved cars because they were more comfortable size, they handled well, and they're fuel efficient. All of these factors bring me to the Lexus RX 300. It's basically a Toyota Camry that was stretched vertically, put on squishy suspension, and then built to be as comfortable as possible. Toyota did not give a shit about making this thing off-road capable, they just wanted it to be comfortable, and it turns out that's what people wanted too. The Lexus RX 300 sold extremely well right when it came out, and basically proved the entire crossover idea. Now every car got about as big as shit, which brings us to today. Hatchbacks basically died, wagons started to go extinct, and even sedans are on life support. If you look at an ad for a car on TV, 9 times out of 10 it's for some sort of safe, boring crossover. It's not like everyone wants to drive these cars, but you kind of have to in order to feel comfortable on the road. So I don't blame drivers for wanting to drive a car that's the same size as everyone else's. But it's just weird how quickly these types of cars became standard, right? I feel like in a lot of cases, wagons, hatchbacks, or even sedans have plenty of room for most people's needs. I wonder if we'll ever get back to small cars being normal. One of the funnier things about cars getting bigger is that sports cars are also getting bigger. Like BMW actually started putting M badges on massive cars like the E70 X5M. I think it's a really cool car, but putting an M badge on it feels really weird. I mean, it does make 555 horsepower, but an M car isn't about the speed in a straight line. Look at the E30 M3 for example. From this car until the E46 M3, maybe even the E92 M3, it was all about having a raw driver-focused car. They were light, the engines were rev happy, and they were good cars all around. As big cars became more popular, so did BMW's M cars, and I think it's making them worse. Let's say you can pick between 2 BMW M5s to race in a hill climb. Your first option is the brand new G90 M5, which makes 720 horsepower and can get up to 60 miles an hour in just 3 seconds, which is super impressive. Your other option is BMW's third ever M5, the E39 M5. It makes under 400 horsepower, the 0 to 60 is 2 seconds slower than the G90, and I would pick the E39 every time. The E39 weighs a bit under 4,000 pounds, while the G90 M5 weighs 5,500 pounds? Do you know what else weighs 5,500 pounds? A Cadillac Escalade, a Ram 1500, or 5.5 grand pianos. I do not want any performance car that I'm driving to feel like 5.5 grand pianos. What the fuck? All this being said, I understand why they chose to make such a massive car. These days, even driving an E39 M5 feels kind of small on the road, let alone an E46 M3. So if BMW dropped a small sports sedan in 2026, people would just not feel comfortable driving that shit. A lot of people seem to prefer going for a bigger car, even if it's not the best option for performance. The Escalade V, the Trackhawk, GLS 63, even the fucking Lamborghini Urus. Like, cars are getting so big that even Lamborghini had to tap in. I think it's interesting how we got to this point, where massive cars are just the new normal. And I honestly don't think they're as good as smaller cars. That's for a few reasons. The seating position, weight, and the headlights. The reason I think the seating position is an issue is because of speeding. When I drive my BMW 3 Series, driving 60 miles an hour feels like I'm driving 60 miles an hour. When I drive my second gen Tacoma, 60 60 miles an hour feels like 40 miles an hour because the seating position is higher than the BMW. While it is comfortable, it just makes me want to drive faster. And the second gen Tacoma isn't even that big of a truck. That's probably why lifted trucks and massive SUVs are always driving like idiots, because everything feels about as slow as shit to them. This is also why weight is an issue. Not only does it mean the car is gonna get shitty fuel economy, but you're gonna have people speeding in cars that can actually do damage. If I rear end someone in my Mini Cooper, first of all, I'd be pissed because it's a cool Mini, but second of all, it wouldn't do that much damage to their car. If I rear end someone in a Jeep Wagoneer, every single one of those 6,400 pounds is gonna completely pancake their car. Unless they're driving a massive car too, which is why everyone drives a massive car. I think if people drove smaller cars like wagons, people would be better drivers. When you're lower to the ground, it feels like you're going way faster than when you're in the air. Like driving a go-kart feels insane compared to being in an airplane. Maybe that's a terrible comparison, but yeah, you get the idea. Another thing that blows my mind is the grille size on these cars. Not only is it less aerodynamic, but if you get hit by one of these cars as a pedestrian, you're completely with a smaller car, you'd still definitely get hurt, but you'd end up just falling on the hood of the car. If an Escalade V hits you, you're just completely done, no questions asked. And if you're short, don't even get me started. The person driving the car just will not see you whatsoever, and they probably just will think you're a speed bump or something. A 90s Civic has roughly a 7-foot blind spot in front of the car, while the 2024 F-150 has a 12-foot front blind spot. How in the world do you solve this issue? You simply pay more money. The base model options come with pretty insane blind spots, but just for a few $1,000s extra, you could have cameras and sensors in those blind spots. Awesome, right? You simply pay more money. While cars got big as shit, roads stayed about the same, or sometimes even got smaller. The roads were paved a long time ago, back when cars were a lot smaller than they are today. The roads in the US aren't as small as some of the ones in Europe, of course, but they're definitely not big enough for an Escalade V. In a lot of cities, roads are getting a bit tighter so there can be more bike lanes and crosswalks and stuff, which is a whole different video. But the roads are getting a bit tighter and the cars are getting a bit bigger. It's not really ideal. Bigger cars mean more weight already, but making them hybrid or electric just means it's an actual tank. That's why the G90 M5 is so heavy, because it has to carry around that massive battery in its big belly. Electric cars are actually pretty cool. Sort of. The instant torque is cool. I never really gave a shit about electric cars until my friend drove me around in his Rivian. Even with 4 people in the Rivian, it pulled really hard. Electric cars are really quick and seem pretty cool, but I still hate them. There are very few electric cars that actually look like they have a soul. It's like every electric car was manufactured by IKEA or some shit. It's also kind of funny that electric cars just are not that good for the environment, even though that's like their main selling point. Don't get me wrong, they're still probably better for the earth than gasoline cars, but let's just start with battery mining. Lithium mining uses tons of water, and better yet, it's often mined in places without much water, so that's not really ideal. Cobalt mining destroys habitats, but more importantly, it makes ceramic glaze more expensive. I just learned that in my ceramics class like 2 days ago. Nickel mining also fucks with the earth, so that's not ideal, but a lot of the real issues are with manufacturing the cars. Surprisingly, EV production generally creates more emissions up front than building a gasoline car. On top of mining all that shit for the battery, you also need to make the fucking battery. Manufacturing car batteries is pretty intensive and not necessarily environmentally friendly. I'm looking at you, Polestar. Where does the electricity even come from? By the way they advertise some of these electric cars, it makes it seem like electricity just comes from the power of friendship or some shit. In areas that rely on energy from coal, charging an EV just means you're burning a shit ton of coal. I mean, as I said earlier, EVs are still better for the earth than gasoline cars, but like it's kind of crazy to market them as environmentally friendly. Either way, I think the most off-putting thing about these cars is how heavy and ugly they are. They all look and sound like appliances. I don't know what the thought behind that was. They're just like massive air fryers that weigh as much as your Speaking of massive air fryers and your I feel like bigger cars attract bad drivers. Do bigger cars attract bad drivers? Well, more metal around you means you're safer, right? Maybe. I feel like it's a similar problem to football helmets. Hear me out. The gear that football players wear is to protect them from normal play. But with more protective gear, the players are a lot more willing to take risks that they wouldn't have otherwise, which leads to worse injuries. So with a big, heavy car, tons of safety features, and a super high seating position, you feel a little bit invincible. And who would want these features more than a bad driver, right? Let's say you're looking for a new car and you're not very confident in your driving skills. The dealership has a Mazda Speed 3 or a Chevy Suburban. The only driving you do is to the grocery store and to your office job, so both of these cars have the right amount of luggage space for you. Since you're not too confident in your driving abilities, you're definitely gonna go with the Chevy Suburban. It's much harder to drive daily, but having that much more metal around you just makes you feel safer. Despite the other option being more fuel efficient, easier to drive, and most likely cheaper up front, driving a bigger car just feels more comfortable. The problem with this is now we have another unconfident driver in a massive, heavy car. They might drive faster because it feels slow, they might park like shit because the car is so massive, and now everyone else on the road has to stay clear of a car that could flatten them. Also, a lot of these new large cars come with lane assist, auto braking, and a bunch of other false senses of safety. While these might seem beneficial, people are going to be less focused than before. It seems almost more harmful than helpful. When I'm driving my Mini Cooper, I'm completely locked in. It's manual, it's tiny, it's pretty quick, and I can't be scrolling reels or anything while I'm driving because then the car just won't work. On top of these features, tons of new cars have actual iPads in them. I just think it's weird that a selling point for new cars is that you can be less focused on the road. The headlight angle is what pisses me off the most about big cars though. For some reason, the dudes who designed these huge cars decided that they needed to make the headlight angle completely blinding for anyone with a smaller car. Whenever a massive car is behind me at night, it makes driving nearly impossible. Merging onto the highway with one of these cars behind you is super difficult. Not only is your rear view mirror blinding you, but so are the wing mirrors, which you actually need to use to merge onto the highway. The drivers of these huge cars can't do anything about it either. They just sit up so high that their headlight angle actually just needs to be that way. It's really weird. I feel like I should just mount a light bar to the back of my trunk so I can defend myself. Just to put into perspective how big some of these cars are, the 9,500-pound GMC Hummer EV is roughly the weight of 10 concert-sized grand pianos. Yes, that vehicle can legally drive on the road behind a Miata. The Chevy Suburban is about as long as a standard 2-car garage. You're better off renting a plane hangar if you're gonna get one of these. The 2024 GMC Yukon XL is about as wide as 5 bowling lanes. I don't even know how some of these cars are legal, and I definitely don't know where you would find parking in a city. Overall, I think everyone driving a bigger car is worse, but I also don't think it's very reversible. It's not the end of the world for people to be driving bigger cars, and some of them are really cool. I'm honestly thinking of getting a BMW E70 X5 diesel as a daily driver, so I guess I'm feeding into the problem. I asked you guys to send in photos and videos of your cars, and holy crap, man, some of these cars are just awful, but there's also some that I might have to steal. So this is Wes's 1998 Honda Prelude SI. Looks like he's got an intake, an exhaust, some cool looking fog lights, beautiful sunset as well. I think these cars look awesome. He sent a video as well. Let's check it out. Me too, Wes. Me too. I really like the audio meters at the back. That's super cool. Once it's manual swap, this is going to be an S tier car for sure. I'll just give you S tier right now. Don't worry about it. Now that is what I'm talking about. This is a Goofy Goober's truck. It's definitely been through some stuff. It looks like a very reliable truck. I like those little lights on the bumper as well. I can't really tell what the paint looks like from here, but
they sent a video, so let's check it out.
it looks like a very good work in progress, a great project truck. I'll give it a... So this is George. He submitted some crazy Not only did he submit this crazy S2K with Recaro seats, a manual transmission, a roll cage, beautiful photography might I add, but he also submitted this Honda Civic Type R. I don't know where this guy got his money from, but S tier for both of these cars by a long shot. George, Nice job. Next on the list, we have G59's VW. This thing is super low and just looks awesome. I mean, it has pretty cool fitment. I definitely like the luggage carrier. I think those are slept on for sure. But wait, what the fuck is that sound? Oh my God, I can't even believe my eyes. Is that an R33 Skyline? S tier, of course. This guy submitted a very beautiful G-Wagon. My only experience with G-Wagons is playing with them in Fortnite, but they're really cool cars. I'm not really sure how you managed to take this picture without being in the reflection. And also, I don't really know if you can drive yet. A tier for the G-Wagon. Is it lowered? I can't really tell. As long as it's got a clean title, it looks like it's pretty good. Can't really tell what condition the interior is in, but it looks like a good car to me. I'll give this an S tier. Go Mad Dog submitted his
2017 Hyundai Santa Fe.
And this thing rips. I'm gonna have to give you a D tier. Is this dude's name actually O Barbecue? Well, anyway, he has a really cool Porsche. I like the red accents and red brakes. I don't usually like black wheels on cars, but I think it worked really well right here. Let's take a look at the interior. Dang! So we got a manual transmission. The interior is really clean, looks freshly detailed. Maybe that's just how clean you are, but I like everything about it. This is by far an S tier car. Nice. So Dexter fucking Morgan submitted a fire truck, which is pretty awesome. Dexter, this is a great daily driver. I appreciate the submission. This is gonna give you, I'm gonna give this one a, I'll give it an A tier.
ODST Vulcan's 2016 Ford Mustang EcoBoost
Premium with LEDs. So not only does he have a super clean Autobot symbol, but he's also got underglow. Thank you for showing the different colors. You actually did do RGB, so nice job there. I think I prefer the blue from like the rear angle. I think that looks better. Not necessarily a huge fan of the EcoBoosts, but you know what? Whatever floats your boat. So the next submission is from something 911, and this thing is absolutely awesome. It's so unique and really cool to see a Civic that's actually up off the ground and can do shit. I mean, look at those tires. Those things could go anywhere. He has plans to build a custom turbo kit for it, which I think is absolutely awesome. I'd love to see that. You're already at S tier. Let me know when you get that done and you'll be at whatever's above that. Nice job, dude. Wirt is my day one, and I love your BMW. I love F10s. I think the 5 Series is awesome. This thing looks great, but I have an issue with your BMW and many others in this submission list. You guys have to take those fucking grills off. I really like the BMW though. Keep it up. It looks clean. Nice job.
I don't have a car.
Now we got Sif with the C5 Corvette. This thing looks super nice. I really like the red, and I think it's cool that it can wink too. I think C5 Corvettes are some of the better looking Corvettes. Sif, I'm gonna give you an S tier. Crusader Eduardo. Here's some photos and sounds. I don't have a lot of photos. It looks like plenty to me. He's got a Dodge Charger. I like the engine bay. I like that strut bar you got. I think the purple looks great. I have no idea where you live, but it looks straight out of War Dogs. He sent a video. Let's hear how it sounds. All right, dude, you have to have hearing damage because that was way too loud. I think it sounds pretty good, but really way too fucking loud. Black Bear has this crazy Toyota Hilux. I mean, it's not that crazy. It looks a little bit stock, but I really like the wheels you got on there and the tires. 566,000 kilometers on the odometer is insane. A tier for sure. Whipple submitted this Mini Cooper. I really like it. Let's give it a listen. I think it sounds great. Mini Coopers definitely do handle like go-karts. You're right. A tier.
This is a certified hood class.
1993 Toyota pickup has 3 slow and 5 speed. The last picture is what my shift knob looks like. I really like the bumper. I like the lights on top of the roof and the lights on the bumper. This looks like a really nice rig. I'm sure you could get over anything in this thing. I really like the first gen Tacomas as well, so great job. Now that is what I'm talking about. Not only does it look great, but it hits 45 miles an hour. It's a 6-speed manual. I don't even know how you do that on a lawnmower, but that's great. Please send me a video of you driving this. A tier. Oxford Green 330 CI E46 automatic transmission. I'm gonna dock you a point for the automatic transmission. Older BMW auto transmissions are not that good, but the E46 looks great. Green looks great. I think this is one of the few colors that works really well with a beige interior, so that's a very nicely spec'd E46 you got. 1992 Honda Accord. Accord. That looks like a very chill car you got. The Steelies are a Honda classic. The gap between the body panels is another Honda classic. I think the rear end looks very nice. The interior looks pretty good. I'll give you a very solid B tier. I forgot who submitted this one, but it was taken with Google Maps, which is very impressive. Doesn't look like it's moved in forever. So I'll give you an F tier. Oh wait, I just realized the dude who submitted the Honda Accord actually submitted this one. So I'll give you an S tier. My 23 WRX that I bought myself at 18. Wow, dude, I need to know what you're doing for a job because it does not look cheap. I think it looks cool. I'm not a huge fan of these, like the newer WRXs personally. It might be with the rear bumper, I don't know. But it looks like you've done a great job with it. They're great cars, so that's all that matters, right? I might give you an S. I'll give you an A tier. My clapped Corolla. Dude, that doesn't look that clapped. That looks pretty clean. I like the wheels. I don't know how you got it into that fucking game, but looks like a very cool Corolla. Here's my M5 boy. So with this 5 Series, cool wheels. Those wheels can work. I don't hate the E60. I do not like those grills, as I said earlier. It has a lot of potential. Keep it up. Runaway Rail Fan. I don't think this is an NPC car either. And I agree. It does seem like a starter vehicle in like Forza or something. Definitely a cooler car. I don't think this is absolutely regular traffic. You should definitely do some mods. Maybe lower it a little bit. I'll give you an A tier just for being based. We absolutely fuck with the bike. This is Frantic's Monte Carlo. 350 brake horsepower or more. You have to just hear this thing. It sounds great. Frantic, I'm gonna give you an S tier. This is great. So here we have a $400 2002 Impreza, which is hopefully gonna be a rally car one day. First of all, this is a great car. Second of all, $400 is amazing, and I really like that you want to rally it. I think between the two engines, I go with the EJ205, but it's up to you. Let me know what you end up doing. B tier for now. So Lucan submitted this 530D with the turbos from a 535D. I really like the F10 with the N57 engine. I think they're really cool. I don't think these engines are quite as good as the M57, but it's still great. And this thing sounds nice as well. I can't really tell, but it looks like you have a quad tip exhaust, which is super cool. I might have to give you an A tier for this. This is really nice. This thing is sweet. I think it looks really cool. I mean, making it into a pickup is pretty crazy, but you know what? I respect it. I'm gonna just give it a B for now, but let me know when you're done and you'll be at probably above S tier. I don't even know what this is. People seem to like it. Mustang GT and an IROC Camaro. Those are two very patriotic and really cool cars. Unfortunately, I'd give both individually a C, but since they're together, I'll give them an A. This is a really great work truck. They don't build them how they used to. I think it's cool that you're building an engine. Let me know when it's done. I'm gonna give it a C tier for now though. 1977 Mercury Cougar and how I decorated it for summer. It's a very beautiful looking car. I really like the way you decorated it for summer. I think the interior looks really cool. I like the red. This is a very nice car. The interior looks like a very nice person is driving it, but from the outside, it kind of looks like an evil villain or something. I'm gonna give this one an S tier. I just really like it. I don't know about all that smoke back there though. So this is Mike Tickelson's first car. Mixed around 200 horsepower, looks awesome. It was even in Minecraft. I think this is a really cool car. I've never even heard of this brand before. I'm gonna give you a B tier. It looks like a pretty cool car. Interesting. I do not know what kind of BMW this is. I mean, I know it's an E90. I just don't know if it's a 335 or a 328, but it's a pre-LCI. I don't think the pre-LCIs look the best, but it's cool that you put a lip on it, and I think it's sitting really nicely. I like the ride height a lot. Deppy, I'm gonna give you a C tier for now just because I'm an asshole. 1965 Ford Mustang. It's pretty cool. It looks really cool, man. I think it came with maybe 120 horsepower. Maybe died over the years. Okay, they sent a video. Let's see how it sounds. That sounds healthy, dude. It sounds like a really cool car. I think Ford Mustangs are great. I'm excited to see what you do with it in the future. I'm gonna give you a B tier for now. The cheapest car you own. You must be a very rich man if this is the cheapest car you own. And also, why is that wheel in the background the same size as the car? I think it's cool that you have a bumper on this thing. Looks like you live out in the middle of nowhere and you can probably spin some good donuts or something. I'm gonna give this one a D tier. It's not an F because it has a light bar and a bumper. The Frankenstein. Zack Attacker got the color scheme from from Eddie Van Halen's guitar. That is super cool. I really like how it looks. It looks like you put a ton of effort into this thing. Here's a closer look at the engine bay. This thing looks absolutely sweet. This is by far an S tier. This thing looks great, man. This dude just said hello, and it's an E92 BMW. I know nothing about it. It looks very clean. I think the bumper looks great. I'm gonna give it a B tier for now just because I don't really know anything about it. Phantom Spiders 2014 Subaru Impreza Sport Premium. This thing looks pretty clean. I like that red intake. Looks like you need a new filter though. Holy shit. The smoke tail lights actually look good in this case. Looks like they sent a clip. Let's take a look. Ruined Benz. Well, that's a pretty ironic name. I think this thing looks great. Super low. I don't even know if you can drive it like that. I really like the photography. I think the wheels are pretty cool too. The red interior is super nice. So far you're at S tier, but let's see that video just in case. Very good roller setup, very good looking car. I like those intake noises as well.
I'm gonna give you an S tier for this one.
We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year.
Hit that like and subscribe button, boy.
Thank you.
This is a very chill and very tiny car. I like those steelies. I also don't know why you're in the fucking shadow realm because your friends look super creepy. 240s are awesome. I don't know what I think about those fender flares and the body kit, but you know what? It's cool. I hope you drift it. It looks really nice. I like the hood vents. XJs are awesome. I really like this generation of Jeep. I feel like these rigs can go anywhere. I'm not really set on those fender flares. I think the blue is cool. I like the roof rack and everything. I'm gonna give you a B tier for this one. Miata. It looks super cute, very innocent, and since it's your first car, I'm gonna give this one a B tier. Are you driving in a river right there? I don't know. The E34 is very slept on, and what the fuck happened to that key? I think it looks nice. That Pepsi looks like it tastes good. Could probably use a paint job. I'm gonna give you a C tier for this E34. Very cool. I really like the Lexus LS400. This thing looks sweet, and I'm kind of glad you didn't put like a chandelier on it and like slam it and stuff, but I'm also, no hate to those people either. BMW 130i M Sport. This one's super cool because it's very rare in the US and Canada and wherever. It's like a 1 Series hatchback. I think this thing is awesome. I've driven these in Assetto Corsa and they're very nice. Now that is tough. And your grandpa is really cool as well. That thing is popping a wheelie. Is that your grandpa in there? This thing looks awesome and I think the paint job is perfect. S tier. 89 MR2 Supercharged. I think normally this would be an A tier because MR2s just handle like ass, but I'm gonna give it an S tier because of the cat. This is Civic 99's 98 Civic. I think this thing looks great. I really like the wheels and the fitment, and the color is amazing. I really like this generation of Civic. I would give you an S tier, but I'm gonna just have to give you an A tier. This is FX's Chevy SUV, and don't let this thing fool you. It looks like a regular soccer mom car, but you have to hear this car. I've never seen a car that looks like that make a sound like that before. I'm gonna give this one a B tier because it kind of just looks like you cut the exhaust off, but it sounds really cool and I bet you can jump sand dunes with it or something. So yeah, B tier. Autograss Junior Special. This is a super cool car. Look at that suspension back there. They sent a video, so let's check it out. That's an awesome car. I'm gonna give that thing an S tier. So this guy has an MR2, and is that a little red truck? I'm gonna give this 2-car setup an A tier, but if you haul little Christmas trees in that red truck, I'll give you an S tier.
This Gianna, she eyed.
Gianna seems alright to me. You could just fucking park. That would be much better for your score. Gianna, I'm gonna have to give you a D tier. This thing looks sweet. I really like the green with the cherry blossoms. That looks awesome. Did you spin those donuts? Yeah, this car is definitely an S tier. Looks like you put a ton of work into this thing. Is that a Mercedes 190e? This thing is absolutely an S tier. I really like the color of this car as well. Is it a wrap or is it paint? Either way, it's really cool. S tier. What the heck? This is badass. Look at those wheels. Those are super scary. I really like the matte paint job as well. This truck is awesome. What kind of bike do you have back there? I really like the red accent accents. This is an awesome build. And they forgot to send a picture of the engine bay. So here's the engine bay. That looks sweet. Nice job. I feel like this is a very fitting submission for Jack Daniels. A tier. Nope, S tier. S tier. Check out this Harbor Freight Predator swapped go-kart. This thing looks super nice. I'll give it a B tier. I'll give it a C tier. No, I'll give it a B tier. This is a very patriotic Jeep. I'm happy to see that it's doing some sort of off-roading. That might be a rubber ducky in there. So typical Jeep stuff. I don't know, man. Maybe I'll give you a C. This is a very clean Mazda wagon. This is just like the Mazda Speed 6, but a wagon. This thing is absolutely perfect. It has a manual wagon. It looks really good inside and out. S tier car. Look at this AE86. This is really cool. It looks super clean from the pictures. The headlights are really clear, and I really like that foggy photo you took. This is such an iconic car. It's definitely an S tier. The Wolf of Wall Streets might have my dream garage of all time. This guy has an E46 M3. He's got an E24 as well. The E91 is clean. I really appreciate that you have wagons. I think that's great. I like the SUV as well. Very much an S tier garage. Nice job. I present to you my 2003 F-150. I really don't like the N20 engine. I think the facelifted bumper looks a lot better. I'll give it a C tier. I really don't like 320i's. I just don't think it's anything special. This is going to be an F tier. Now this is tough. Pinky is a 1963 Volvo Duet. Standard B18 straight 4. That is a very cool truck, man. I'd like to see more of it. I'd like to see a video if you have any. I'll give you an A tier. 2020 Suburban LT with the 5.3 Ecotech. Light up wheels, center caps on the Jetta GLI. They sent a video. Let's check it out. That was super badass. I'm gonna have to give you an F tier. This 2010 Ford Ranger Sport is very cool. They built a custom drawer in the truck bed to haul tools around. It's a work truck that this dude shares with his dad. I think Ford Rangers are great. I think building custom drawers and compartments and stuff in trucks is really cool. I'd love to do something similar to my Tacoma. I'm gonna give you an A tier. This is great. Keep it up. Let me know when you get those bumpers. This rig looks awesome. The bumper, the lights. I feel like you absolutely know what you're doing taking this thing off-roading. That's a pretty good suspension flex right there as well. I'll give it an A tier. This is Butterball's real car. Butterball, you need a new GPU. Smoke has this little BAS4. It looks very clean. I like the black. It looks like you got a cold air intake in there. Let's see the video. That first shift was kind of diabolical, but I can tell you for sure that your clutch is going to last forever. And that car seems quick as fuck. The B8 is going to get an S tier. Rotted Subi's going to get an A tier. Not perfect, but working on it. Well, I can tell you something that's not perfect. I think this is a very nice looking E36 besides those... Yeah, I'm sure it's fun to drive around with the soft top down, so I'll give you an A tier. I'll give a 2.5 RS A tier any day of the week. I think the stance is a little bit aggressive for a Subaru, but that's just my opinion. So I guess the mechanic from LS Custom watches my videos and posted cars that he's working on, so of course, this is going to be an S tier list. These are very cool cars. And my favorite out of these is definitely the Hellcat. 2015 Mustang V6. So apparently it's unique because it sounds like a GTR. Let's listen to the video and see if that's true. This thing actually does sound really nice. It's sad that you have to sell it on Facebook. I'm excited to know what your plans are for the future though. Well, this is just awesome. I have no idea what kind of car this is. It has a number 7 on the front. Maybe that's telling of something. I really like the roll cage in the back. Comparing it to this Ferrari, I definitely think the bottom one is much cooler. Very boring Ferrari. I think I'll give the Ferrari an F tier and the car below, I'll give that an S tier. That bottom one looks like Franklin's car twin.
Man, fuck you.
This looks like a bootleg Mr. Bean car. I think it's pretty cool. I like how tiny it is. Oh, the red seatbelts are definitely a plus. I'll give you an A tier for this one. That looks like a really fun car. An E46, finally. I think this thing looks great. I really like the headlights you have on there. Automatic is a bit unfortunate, as I mentioned earlier. I don't really think the beige interior goes well with the gray exterior, but you know what? I'll give you a B tier. It's a very good entry. Hell yeah, brother. This looks like a classic American man's daily driver. I'd love to go to Harbor Freight in a car like this. I'll give you an S tier just because I think this is above the other trucks we've seen so far. You're right, this is totally an NPC car. It is good news that you got a cooler car that's being driven up. Let me know what that is and I'll put you in the next video. Another good truck one. I like it. Is this an automatic transmission? Very retro. The lack of headrests is kind of cool. I like it as long as you drive it like it's meant to be driven. I'll give you an A tier. Yes, now that's what I'm talking about. I'm very happy to see one of these on the list because Mark Zuckerberg drives one of these. I think this might be the best car yet. I love Honda Fits. Oh my god, it's a manual as well. Yes, dude. Oh my god, yes. S tier. Yes. Bavarian Motor Works. It's a very cool looking Thunderbird, but it's also a very large tire. For that reason, I'm gonna have to give you a B tier. 250,000 miles, and it does need an engine rebuild. See a huge gash in the side of the truck from when I was 7 and I hit a beam with this side of the truck. It's a very cool looking truck. I like that it's for farm use. I'm gonna give you a C tier for now because it needs an engine rebuild. This looks like Franklin's car if it was red.
Man, fuck you.
I don't know about those floor mats. I personally don't love them. I know a lot of people that do though. It's a cool car. I like the photography. I like the Wes Anderson style of this picture. Yeah, it looks like a cool car. I'll give you an A tier. Now that is a really cool VW Beetle. To those who have never been in the presence of a straight piped VW, you have to try it. You can feel the sound in your chest. It is truly amazing. This car is very nice. I really like the view spots that you took pictures at. That reason, I'm gonna give you an S tier. Oh, 370Z. Oh. Dude has an NVIDIA catback. You know what? I love it too. I think the 370Zs are really cool, especially if you're getting into drifting. It's like you just have to weld the diff and then you're ready to go. Yeah, it seems like a cool car. They're not my favorite personally, but whatever floats your boat. Let's check out the video. Okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. I'll give you an A tier. It's a clean car. Wow, that's really nice. Look at that interior. So clean, so red. I would definitely pull up to a metal concert in this car. Kind of looks like some witchcraft bullshit with a stormtrooper on the back. That's a crazy license plate name as well. I don't know what you're talking about reliable daily when you actually sent a picture of this thing on the back of a trailer, but it seems cool. I'll give you a B tier because I don't really know much about it. Nice, another stock Ford Ranger. Beautiful. Look, it even has an American flag. Give you a B tier. I'll give you a C tier. I'll give you a B tier. Yes, that is fucking cool. It only weighs 25 tons. Oh,
I thought it was 26 tons.
I really like the use of the skateboard to prop up the hood, and I like that your steering wheel is not in the car. This is a very cool car. Giro. I'll give you an S for this one. Damn, that's crazy. Mind the bird shot to the grill. This dude's actually out here killing birds. Craig Beamer posted the best M Sport BMW with the inline V6. This thing's super clean. I really like the tasteful accents as well. I'm gonna have to give you an S tier for this one. I don't usually like newer trucks, but I think it looks great. I think the wheels are a little bit too fancy for a truck, but you know what? I'll give you a B tier. I have mixed opinions about the RX-8. I think yours looks very nice. This is definitely an A tier car. Wheels, possibly the first human invention ever, and yet we still use them in our day-to-day lives. I think that's why people underestimate the beauty of good wheels and tires, because how can the first ever invention be any better than it was 1,000 years ago? Wheels and tires are very easy components to neglect if you don't understand the importance of them, because on the surface level, they seem to all do the same thing.
Roll.
And for the most part, you're right. You could drive on Steelies across the country, but for those who like driving for the enjoyment or the sport, it makes all the difference. Just imagine Jordan trying to dunk in flip-flops. Before I get into the different setups and put you on some crazy tire and wheel game, let me just catch you up with the basics so that things don't get confusing later. First, I'll talk about tires. Tires have all of those little numbers on the side. I'm sure you've seen these types of markings on tires before and probably have no idea what they mean, but let me explain them. This letter right here stands for the type of car. In this case, it's passenger. That's why there's a P there. For a truck or something, it might be A/T for all-terrain, but there's many other types. And then the first number, 205, that's for the tire's width in millimeters. The next number, 55, explains the size of the tire's sidewall, but not in millimeters because that would be way too simple. In this case, it actually means the tire wall is 55% of the tire's width. The tire is 55% of 205. So the second number is always dependent on the first one. If you had a tire that was 215/55, for example, then the sidewall would be larger than the 205/55 one. I don't know why they do that, but it works. The R stands for radial construction, which is the most common way that tires are made these days. 16 stands for the size of the inside of the tire. Pretty important to know if you want to get tires for your wheels. 91 stands for the tire's max weight. 91 is 1,356 pounds per tire. Then finally, the V is the tire's max speed rating. There's many other letters for speed rating, but V means the tire could comfortably handle 150 miles an hour. Oh, also there's usually markings explaining heat resistance, tread wear, and traction. For heat resistance, they're usually rated A through C. A is good heat resistance. That's all you have to know. Tread wear is your tire's longevity and stickiness. Having a tire up to a 200 rating means that they'll be good for only like 20,000 miles, but having a tire with 700 to 1,000 rating means they're good for like 80,000 plus miles. But keep in mind, the lower the number, the more sticky the tires will be. Finally, traction measures the tire's ability to stop in wet conditions, graded from C to AA. AA is the best. The max PSI is also listed on there somewhere, but I don't usually pay attention to that. Okay, now I'll briefly touch on wheel basics before we get into the good stuff. There's a few things to think about when you're getting wheels. The height, width, and offset are all important for the fitment and how the car handles. The lug pattern and the way that the wheels were made is important for strength. So height and width is pretty self-explanatory, but offset is a bit harder to understand. Imagine a line drawn on top of the wheel through the middle. This would be 0 offset. Moving the tire closer to the car would be positive offset, and moving it away from the car is negative offset. This is pretty important to keep in mind when you're buying wheels, because you want your wheels to fit the car nicely and look badass. How the wheels are made is more important than you think. Steelies are the basicest of the basic wheels. They look bad and they're pretty heavy. Okay, to be fair, I've seen them look good in a few situations, but it's pretty rare. Cast wheels are a step up from Steelies. They're made by pouring aluminum into a wheel-shaped mold. If you're buying reps, then you're probably buying cast wheels. They're much more affordable to manufacture, and that's why the wheels are cheaper. They're not as strong as flow forming or forged, but better than Steelies, I suppose. Multi-piece wheels. These are the gangster wheels. There's 2-piece wheels, 3-piece wheels, more piece wheels. Anyway, these look great and can be made using the process that I was just talking about. Lug nuts or lug bolts? What in the world could they have to do with anything, right? Well, more lug nuts, more strength. That's about it. Have you ever wondered why rally cars can float across gravel like it's nothing? I can hardly run on gravel, let alone take a corner at 80 miles an hour comfortably. The setup that those cars are running can carve into the ground so nicely. They have lots of control while driving. You're more likely to break a rim than pop a tire. These poor wheels are getting sandblasted with rocks while you're cruising through the track, so that's why they break. Rally tires are so fucking fat that they can weigh like 60 pounds. Rally tires are generally pretty tall too. They have a very interesting tread pattern to help with cornering as well. Kind of like spits rocks out to the side or something. I don't really understand how it works, but it looks cool. Drag is quite the opposite. Not that kind of drag, this kind of drag. They have pizza cutters for front wheels, like very thin 17 by 4.5s in the front, which is insane. And then something crazy like 34.5 by 17 in the rear. What the fuck? A setup like this is on slicks, of course, to get as much grip on the track as they can. They look awesome. I swear, some drag cars look like the old bikes, but backwards. From Japan's Supras and Germany's BMWs to India's... Which country actually has the best cars? Italy. Yeah, Ferrari, Lamborghini, blah, blah. Fuck off. It's Fiat time. The Italian Mini Cooper. It's slow as crud, unless we're talking about corners. That's where these bad boys shine. The Fiat 500 is ugly as slow as but can take a turn like it's on rails. So yeah, obviously Fiat isn't the best brand from Italy. We've got Ferrari, of course, making bangers like the F40, the 250 GTO, the 812 Superfast, and just way too many other cars to list. But I'm not gonna give them the crown just yet because we can't forget about Pagani. I also can't forget about Alfa Romeo with the Italian BMWs. This country is a tough one. I'm gonna give it to Ferrari, even though they're an asshole brand for not letting people modify their cars. Still think they're the best cars that Italy has made. Canada's cars suck. I'm gonna give the best brand award to this thing because of the T-Rex. It's time for some freedom! The USA produces the most badass eagle screeching, gun shooting, gas guzzling cars of all time. I'm not talking about the Cybertruck though. And dude, the US knows ball. Like the Cadillac CTS-V wagon, that shit's dope. Also, the 2005 Ford GT was an instant American classic. The Dodge Viper scares me, and Corvettes are pure badassery. Honestly, I didn't used to love Corvettes, but then I helped my friend work on a C4 and it made me understand the hype. Those cars are pretty freaking raw and sendy. Why the hell do American cars make you sit so far back though? When I sit in one, I feel like I could roll the window down and touch the back wheel. Maybe that's why they have such a bad reputation for handling, but a really good reputation for looking fucking awesome. Hell yeah, brother. I personally think the American car brand battle is between Ford and Chevy. That's coming from a non-American car enthusiast, so take that with a grain of salt. To ease your mind, I'll give the crown to Ford for now because the Raptor R is dope and the old F-250s are really cool, and the 3rd generation Ford Ranger.
Now let's focus on Europe for a little bit, since they got some crazy shit you might not know about.
Turkey dropped the TOG T10X, which looks super boring to me and has a terrible interior, but I just really like saying TOG. So that's definitely a point. What the f is an Andal Bokek? The United Kingdom. While they do have some interesting food choices and design choices when it comes to cars, the UK definitely has dropped some heat. When I say interesting design choices, I'm just talking about any car from Reliant and the City Rover. Yuck! Okay, that being said, the UK dropped McLaren, Aston Martin, Jaguar, Rolls-Royce, Lotus, and like a shit ton of other bangers. Rolls-Royce has the Phantom, of course, which is just peak luxury. And the Aston Martin with the DBS Superleggera. I love the brap noise that these things make. Jaguar dropped the Shaguar, which is Austin Powers' daily. I'm kidding, the Jaguar F-Type R is a mega Jag win. And Lotus made the Fox body, Carlton, which looks freaking cool. And oh yeah, the McLaren F1. Okay, out of these, the best brand from the UK is going to Mini. Germany. Germany. What a great country. The nature, the beer, the pretzels, it's all amazing. But all of those beautiful things mean absolutely nothing compared to their cars. And holy shit, these Germans can drive them however fast they want. It's just so unfair. So what are Germany's best cars? The Mercedes 190e is such a beautiful car. Mercedes actually crafted the most exquisite looking car when they made the 190e. Just look at this thing, right? As a BMW Glazer, I think these things look nicer than E30s. Also, fun fact about the 190e, some trims had self-leveling rear suspension, so that's just badass, I guess. This is gonna sound like an absolute generic cornball opinion, but the Porsche 911 GT3 RS is such a good car from Germany. I can't help but give it a spot in the top 3 best cars from Germany. You already know all about it since it's so popular, so I'll move on to my next pick. Okay, this one might come as a bit of a shock to you. No, I'm just messing with you. It's the BMW E46 M3. Beautiful looking car, raw driving experience, and such a cool engine. 333 horsepower from that straight 6, probably feels so good to drive. Guys, can you please spare a buck so I can get one of these, please? I'm gonna give Germany's best brand to Porsche. Porsche knows how to make some good damn cars.
Bonus round!
Brazil also has a super cool and weird car community. They have so many front wheel drive cars that most people lift the back for better traction. I think it's cool that they have such a strong underground car community, even though they're kind of set back by having so many front wheel drive cars. That being said, I think the best cars that this country has ever produced are all rear wheel drive. The Chevrolet Opala SS. This thing just looks like any other American muscle car, but it's Brazilian, so I guess that's cool. The Volkswagen SP2 is way too cool looking. I really like the stance and the headlights. Chevy made the Puma GTB in Brazil, which is also awesome looking. I think it again looks like any other American muscle car, but with a little bit of Brazilian swaz. I'm gonna give Volkswagen the best brand award for Brazil. France. Oh, bonjour, je m'appelle Gassy. Yeah, the French don't really have Jacques shit to offer. I'm kidding, they made Bugatti. I've talked a lot about Bugattis in my best of every cylinder video because as you probably know, these cars have insane engines and they look bad freaking ass too. Also, Puget is super cool. They made some of the best hot hatches like the 205 GTI. Looks just like a French VW in my opinion and packs a pretty solid punch. And you cannot forget about Alpine. The A110 looks so mean. I don't know what to think of the fog lights on the newer models, but they look badass on the old one. They don't make dumb power, but they're such light cars that you don't really need all that. France, the best car from your country is not Renault, even though Renault made the Celio V6. They just fucked up so badly with the Avantime that I'm not even gonna consider them the best car brand. It's gonna be Bugatti, right? I don't know who else it would go to. Sweden! Yes! It's time for some beautiful brands to be mentioned. Whenever I think of hooning around in the snow, I think of Swedish cars. To all the Subaru dudes, spare your comment. I know you exist too. But anyway, these Swedish people know how to make some super safe and super cool looking cars. Although they up the Saab 79X, Saab also made some sweet cars. The 900 Turbo, for example, was a sweet ride. But Saab, I can't give you guys a crown, sadly. If your cars were that good, then maybe they'd still exist. But I'll toss you guys a participation award for that Aero wagon. Volvo can have my children. Volvo is just such a cool brand, and they make a shit ton of cool cars. The 850R, the V70R, the S60R, and of course, all the variations of the 240. Volvo just knows how to do it. But what do you think? Is Volvo above Koenigsegg? Dude, the Koenigsegg Agera RS is just like, what the fuck were these Swedish dudes snorting? Adderall? Fentanyl? Yeah, this shit is just like peak. If you've got one of these, you might as well just drive it for a bit, then die. You finish a campaign. Obviously, Koenigsegg makes faster, cooler, and more expensive cars, but that's not a good reason to put it above Volvo in my opinion. I'm gonna toss Volvo the crown for Sweden, but feel free to argue with me in the comments because I don't know how nicely that decision sits with me.
Wow, we've been through a lot of major countries already, but we still haven't even touched on places like Japan or Egypt. Wait, what cars does Egypt even make?
Egypt. Yikes.
Wow, that was ass. Subscribe so you don't have to drive that car, twin.
Australia. Australia has some of the most weird and interesting car communities out of all of these countries, and it's awesome. Have you seen those burnout competitions? Ford Australia used to make the Ford Barra engine, which is basically an Australian 2J, and it is awesome. You can find this engine on some of the Ford Falcons and some variations of the Ford Territory. That's definitely a point for Ford. The Holden GTS makes way more power than it should, and the Holden Monaro CV8 looks so nice. Ah! The Proton Jumbuck sucks, so Proton definitely isn't getting the crown. Between Holden and Ford, I'm gonna give it to Holden just because I like the look of the CV8. Oh shit, but I also like the sound of the Barra engine. Maybe I'll just give the win to Ford because of the Capri Turbo being badass, so it's gonna go to Ford again. India. Well, these cars are definitely something, like the Riva G-Wiz. These dudes actually named a fucking car G-Wiz. Well, anyway, there's a few Indian bangers at least. Tata makes some cool cars like the Tata Safari. Looks kind of like a Land Cruiser in my opinion, so that's gonna give Tata the crown for Indian. Let me know if India made a better car than the Tata Safari, because that's the coolest one in my opinion.
Now let's see what Asia has going on.
Vietnam. Unfortunately, Vietnam doesn't really have anything cool as far as cars go. A company called VinFast basically dominates the market, so I'll give them the crown. Japan. Japan is historically the most badass country as far as cars go, according to me. You know that one dude, Smokey something? That dude is so badass.
Man, I'm finna whip this hoe.
And all those other guys too. Japan has produced some insane cars like the Toyota Supra, the R34 Skyline, the Honda NSX. Japan is pretty hard to beat. But you know what else is hard to beat? Making a car shittier than the Mitsubishi Mirage. This thing definitely docks a point from Japan. Luckily, Mitsubishi is cool otherwise. They made the Lancer Evo, the Eclipse, and some other fire shark. They made Subaru, which is cool, Toyota, which is a classic, Lexus, which is just Toyota but cooler, Mazda, Honda, Acura, Sushi, Nissan, Infiniti, mini trucks. One day I will own enough property to drive a mini truck on it and haul my mini bike on the mini truck. I love Japan. I'm gonna have to give the best brand from Japan to Toyota. Malaysia, the Proton Satria GTI is so sweet looking. The front lip, the headlights, the hatchbackness, the dual exhaust. This thing looks sweet, and people mod the shit out of these cars. The Bufori Geneva is exactly the car I would drive if I became an evil villain. Peruta makes cars so boring that I'm gonna give Proton the #1 spot because of the Satria GTI. China makes some weird cars. The Landwind X7 is just a Range Rover clone. It's such a weird car. A Chinese company called NIO makes a cool futuristic looking car called the EP9. I like the way it looks on the outside since it's just so over the top, but I don't like the interior at all. There's no reason to have all those screens. The BYD Seal looks boring as shit, and the Xpeng P7 also looks boring as so I guess the winner by default is Neo. Indonesia. I messed with the Datsun Terrace, but otherwise I'm not interested in Indonesia's cars. So South Korea. The Kia boys would be nothing without South Korea. South Korea makes the absolute best NPC cars ever. Kias, Hyundais, and I guess Genesis is cool even though it's still a Hyundai. South Korea is trying to dig themselves out of their car history by dropping the Kia Stinger and the Hyundai N thingy. These cars are an upgrade from the horseshit cars that South Korea has dropped in the past, I suppose, but they're still not fantastic in my opinion. But more on the Genesis. I feel like this brand is the biggest step forward for South Korea because the Genesis G70, for example, comes with that turbo V6 making 365 horsepower, which is 1 horsepower for every day of the year. And I personally think the design looks nice. This is a reasonable attempt at making a car to compete with a BMW 3 Series or an Audi A4 or something. And then they made the G80, which is a bit bigger and kind of competes with a 5 Series or an A6. Even though it's a new brand, I'm gonna give Genesis the crown for South Korea at the moment. I don't like the fucking Kia Soul. Mexico. The Vool 05 from Mexico is sweet. It looks like a car that you could only drive with your best friend because it's so tiny and the dudes look so funny sitting in it. The Mistretta MXT has such a cool looking interior and also looks like an Audi TT mixed with a 350Z and then swazzed up a little bit. I don't like the Zakua MX3 EV at all. I might even say I hate it. Vool is definitely the winner of Mexico. The United Arab Emirates. Holy fuck. These dudes are rich. Have you ever seen the W Motors Lycan Hypersport? This thing actually looks like a transformer. This country is just a GTA 5 lobby. What the fuck is the Devil 16? You want a little bit of car with that exhaust? I can't forget about the Zaruk Sand Racer either. I didn't even know cars like this existed outside of Hot Wheels. Also, they just gold plated a G-Wagon for the sake of it. I'm sure that amount of spending freedom is pretty nice. The Generelli Design 1 is another funny buddy car, but also badass. Out of all these cars from the United GTA 5 lobby, I've gotta give the win to the Devil, right? I mean, all of these cars are just so insane that I don't even know how to put one above the other. I probably don't even have to say this, but correct my opinion in the comments. Saudi Arabia. The Toyota Land Cruiser 300 from Saudi Arabia is cool. It looks like it could get over a lot of stuff. Also, the Isuzu D-Max Desert. This thing looks so badass. I love this thing. It kind of looks like it has a truck bed just for the sake of it. It's such a small truck bed that you couldn't fit anything in there, but you wouldn't want anything in there if you're jumping over sand dunes anyway. These are all huge cars. I guess they don't have to worry about gas prices. So I'll give Isuzu the winner for the D-Max because that thing looks awesome.
Next up is Africa and Loki. I didn't know they were cooking twin.
Kenya, starting off so strong with the Safari Rally Land Cruiser 70. I just love everything about it. Can you imagine pulling up to your bud's house in this shit? The Mobius 2 looks like a plastic G-Wagon, but I kind of like it. I don't know. I imagine it'd be practical in Kenya somehow. The Volkswagen Polo Vivo is locally built and looks like regular traffic, but has a little bit of potential, I guess. I'll give it to Toyota for the Safari Rally Land Cruiser 70. Morocco. Laraki wins Morocco. No argument needed. So I guess Nigeria knows a little bit of ball knowledge. They made this knockoff G-Wagon, which looks pretty cool in my opinion, and then the Puget 504, which is also cool looking. None of the other cars that Nigeria has made interest me in the slightest, so I'm gonna just say the knockoff G-Wagon brand is my favorite from Nigeria. South Africa. South Africa has some cool ones. We got the Piranha with the Z1. I think this thing looks pretty sweet. If you think this thing is ugly, you at least have to agree that this thing looks super aerodynamic. I really like the Ford Sierra XR8. Although it looks a little bit cross-eyed, it's got a very cool looking chassis and can be built up to look sweet. South Africa also produced a super nice and pretty rare BMW, the BMW 333i, which was only made between 1985 and 1986. It's just an E30 with an E28 engine, and it's kind of like the first BMW M Lite. If you want the M performance but not the M price tag, then you should go with the 333i. I like it. I'll give BMW the crown for South Africa. I think Sweden, Japan, and the UK have the coolest cars in the world. Let me know what you think in the comments though. I asked you guys to tell me about some of your craziest car related stories and you did not disappoint. Oh my god, this guy is going in. What the f? You're gonna want to watch to the end of this video because some of these stories are insane.
I call my friend fat in the passenger seat. So he takes my steering wheel and yanks it down.
The first story is from Ari. What's up,
You can call me Ari. Alright, so I was playing Fortnite with my friends, right? Everything was chill until I noticed it was snowing outside. So I'm sitting there thinking, damn, I want to go mess around in that. So I tell my friends, I'll be AFK for a bit, grab my phone, hop in the car, and call my buddy with a camera. Next thing you know, I'm showing myself drifting through the snow like an idiot, laughing the whole time. 20 minutes later, I slam straight into a concrete barrier. No seatbelt, going about 60, and I get launched. Broke something like 26 bones. Oh my god. Broke something like 26 bones on impact? Holy fuck. So paramedics show up, load me into the ambulance, pump me full of fentanyl, and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm still trying to make it a party. I call my friends back, turn on my camera, and show them my face, broken and bloody. They start laughing their asses off while I'm barely conscious, dying honestly. Best time of my life. I spent 2 months in the hospital, had to relearn how to walk, and later sent one of my buddies to the crash site. He found a car door was wrapped around the barrier where my shoulder hit it. So now it's hanging in my garage, dented and all. A perfect reminder of that night. Wear your seatbelt, folks, or drift better in the snow. Oh my god. That's crazy, dude. 26 bones. Are you alive? Wow, totally ejected. Careless, erratic driving. That's crazy. I had an 03 Jeep Liberty for a little bit. Worst car I've ever had, by the way. After a few months, I traded with a buddy for his 98 Jeep Cherokee. He ended up selling the Liberty to someone else, which then caught fire. Yes, they do that. About a month after we traded. I thank God every day I didn't die in a fucking Jeep. Okay, this is what he had, the shitty Liberty. Oh my god, that thing looks like trash. And then he's got this now. Oh, that is nice. I love it. Holy shit. I have no previous car experience, yet at 16 I managed to get my hands on one of my affordable dream cars. It's not much, but it's mine. This 1967 Ford Thunderbird, nice dude, is my first car and project car. I unfortunately plan to daily this car when it's running better, and I'm learning a lot too. I don't know why that's unfortunate, but okay. But let me tell you something. This car has so many issues. All the vacuum lines are dry rotted, most of the electrical is a bust, and the brakes and steering pump are semi-functional. It has a nice interior though. It gets hate from people at my school, but I don't really care. Do you have a 67 Thunderbird? I do not. Side note, if you did choose this, it probably really made my day. Have a nice day and sub to Gassy. Thank you so much. I'm glad I can make your day. See what they attached. Dang, dude, what? That looks clean though. I don't know what you mean. I think it looks good from here. I mean, just to set the mood for this story, it's a cold, harsh Canadian winter, being like -40 degrees Celsius. Like always, the wind blows the snow around while people who can't fucking drive get stuck in the snow. It's March, and this afternoon, you're taking delivery of a large rental excavator. You get taken from your schoolwork to a call from your father, to which he says the most bone-chilling thing you can ever hear in the winter. The truck driver is stuck. You hastily get out of your room, gather your stuff, and head to the road. After arriving at the job, you realize you forgot your boots and grabbed your shoes. Now you must tough out the day in them.
I about had enough of Canada, bro. I was literally out here in shorts and a t-shirt 2 days ago. I got like 4 inches of snow. What is it?
The rear end of the trailer is in the ditch, and the semi being used is a road only, meaning no all-wheel drive, no lockers, and no easy way out. Then someone had the idea, let's commit OSHA violation. You hop in the excavator with power lines overhead and push it off the ground to get the truck moving. After some pushing and shoving, the truck gets free at 5 p.m. Holy shit.
Well, don't you just love it? Rear-ended, almost went into the ditch, just barely made it around the corner, and now I gotta get that.
After everything that can go wrong going wrong, the excavator is unloaded and the day is over. Then you feel your phone buzz. Another shiver goes down your spine as you already know what the call is going to be about. Hey, the semi got stuck again on his way out, and it's worse this time. After getting a pin on Google Maps, you look at your phone with disbelief. This dumbass made it 500 meters. After arriving, you are even more disappointed. Oh my god. After spending another 2 hours pulling, yanking, and rigging with a tractor, you have no luck. So the guy calls for a tow truck. In the end, we spent a total of 30 man-hours between 5 people in -40 degrees, troubleshooting and swimming through the feet of fresh snow. And do you want to know what we got in return for our hard work? Play some goofy-ass anticlimactic music. I got you, bro. While we were on the phone with the trucking company, the lady says, thanks for getting the guy unstuck. In return, we won't charge you for the extra hours. Bitch! Not only was this a paid job operation, it was also not our fault. Your dumbass truck driver has never seen a snowy back road before.
store. Anyway, 2 days later, we were also taking delivery of a rental D7 cat dozer. You wanna know what they sent me this time? The same fucking truck that can't get a grip on the snow. Even with preparation, plowing, a turnaround, and other things, he still got stuck, leaving us to work until dark again.
Well, that's a rough spot there. We couldn't do anything with that.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough there. Looks like he's struggling through there right now. Come on, keep going.
All said and done, it was like the cheapest company we could find, but still, if he would let me hop in that truck, I could have avoided half the mistakes he made. I'm just a kid. Anyway, lesson of the day, don't work for a heavy equipment moving company if you have the IQ of an empty Coca-Cola can, because you will need to know how to deal with these kinds of situations on the daily. Wow, that's crazy, Frantic, that's crazy. Being dumbass in a Dodge. Holy shit. Oh my god, this guy is going in. What the fuck? 1 mile an hour? Oh my god. This guy's dad bought the wrong car. He was bidding at an auction and he accidentally clicked the wrong car and bid on it and he had to take it. And this thing is a piece of shit. Look at that. Oh no. We went back and forth on the same road like 10 times going crazy. Oh my god, it's this fucking guy again. Hi, I'm Marcus. I'm 12. And there's this time where I won my first race using cars. I only race go-karts. It was my first race and I was ecstatic. I was nervous too. I thought I would be 6th or 7th. You're funny. But I was totally wrong. And I was kind of scared because the day before, my cousin, who I'm racing against, crashed in the fastest corner of the racetrack. It was mid-race and someone had a big crash that caused a red flag. He was using the same car model as my cousin, so I got worried. But after all that chaos and controversies, I ended up winning. The races competed in a circuit time attack and I ended up winning. That was a day I will never forget. Wait, I thought you were driving go-karts. That's real, man. You're 12? Oh my god, this guy's flying. Back in 2020, me and my dad went up to get a Viper in Oklahoma, which was about a 6-hour flight. We get to his house after landing, and when someone has a Viper, you assume they have a nice house to keep it, right? It was under an open shed with a roof and 4 rods holding it up. The house looked like crap. The car was more expensive than the house. My dad went to go test drive it and it seemed like everything was going well. Keep in mind, we had $40,000 in cash with us at the time. We go inside to sign off the title for the car. The guy didn't pay the car off yet, which means we couldn't have full ownership of the Viper yet. It was a Saturday, so the banks were all closed at the time. The guy suggested we give him the money and we go to the bank on Monday, which at that point doesn't seem right. Between the house and where the car was kept, we said, we're gonna go get lunch and we'll come back and tell you our final decision. We ended up renting a car, going home, and never going back. That's a crazy story, dude. Bro, this is low-key short, but I'm from the central PA area and worked at a dining hall at college nearby. I get off at work around 10 p.m., which ain't even that late, but my town was small as fuck, so there'd be no one on the road. So I'd treat it like it was a rally course. That same road, coincidentally, was the one that I took to get to the plug's crib. So I knew this shit like the back of my hand. Years later, I'm in college out of state now, and I came back home and needed to stop at the plugs for some greens. So I'm booking it, enjoy my little rally course, and cut the 25-minute drive into like a 10 or 15-minute drive. And Lord, does it feel good. It gave me so much adrenaline every time. So now I'm on the way back from the plug spot, and I'm booking it even faster. I drove a front-wheel drive car at the time, but I knew this shit so well. So I took some corners. I was just having a blast. And when I'm talking about I used to be booking it down these roads, I'm talking about 90 to 100 feet an hour crying emoji. So I'm on the way back, and someone that lives on that street, they gravel driveway had rocks coming out on the street. I don't cross the mustard, so I hit this shit going about 80 around a bend, and my shit spins. I catch it, but it spins the other way 2 times and I'm off the road in a ditch. I thought I was absolutely cooked because my shit was stuck and all my friends I knew with a truck were out of the area by then. I can't call my family because they're gonna rip me a new one. Just then, an old coworker pulls up on me, one I worked with in the dining hall. I passed him earlier on the road and he said he turned around because he heard the tires screeching and then coming to a stop. Bro came in clutch. He dragged me out and all I needed to fix was the alignment and I was straight. I gave him some of my thanks with some greens from the plug. Shit was wild. I got 2 stories. One is about my first accident and the other is about my first pullover. For my first accident, it happened when me and my friend were filming for a driver's ed parody short film. For a part, I was gonna steal my car GTA style, which would be used throughout the film. I told my friend to keep his seatbelt off and to stop the car in front of me. He was so distracted by the seatbelt and fiddling with the door, he forgot something important. This was on a hill, by the way. As I pulled him out, it started to roll because he forgot to put it in park. Holy shit.
I watched while screaming as my car jumps the curb, demolishes my mailbox, and goes over our lawn. It came to a stop thanks to some bushes. Oh my fucking god. So much worse could have happened. One of us could have been run over, someone else could have been, it could have hit my house, someone's car, anything. We kept the footage and used it as an intro for my short film. There was minor damage, but we replaced the bumper, but I kept this scratch on my hood as a reminder not to be so reckless with cars. That is a good life lesson, man. Now for my first pullover. One day, I was driving to my brother's workplace to eat dinner while he was working. I was listening to Freebird. Okay, yeah, I see where this is going. And going a bit quick. Not swerving through traffic or anything, but just slightly passing other cars. To no one's surprise, a cop lit me up. I was driving through a certain part of town and wasn't fully paying attention on where I should pull over. Of all places, I pulled over in front of an adult toy store. The cop said I was going 50 something in a 35 and let me off with a warning. Not even a minute after we both got on the road, the same cop pulls over another guy and pulls into another adult toy store. Where the fuck do you live? My parents still don't know to this day, and I learned my lesson.
I'm driving a shitty 2009 Mini Cooper. I'm going about 1 kilometers on the highway. Definitely legal speed. I call my friend Fat in the passenger seat. So he takes my steering wheel and fucking yanks it down without looking in the other lanes. Did not consider our lives. I went over from the far left to the far right. If I was in the far right already, I would have gone into the ditch. If there was a car next to us, we would have slammed right into that car going 1 kilometers an hour, and I would have I definitely would have either crashed, very injured, or just fucking died.
I reversed my 2005 Ford Fiesta into my neighbor's garage. The neighbor's garage was all good, but my car was fucked up. I was not paying attention. Instead, I was just trying to select the best songs for my 5-minute drive to the gym. That's fair, dude. I also overtook someone because they were going slow. They were going like 5 kilometers an hour under the speed limit. I kind of cut them off, then got to a traffic light. They came out and smacked and broke my wing mirror. Honestly, I'm just a shit driver. Yeah, it kind of sounds like it, I'm not gonna lie. This took place around 5 years ago when I was 9 years old. This story is gonna be pretty vague, but I used to live in a desert village in Saudi Arabia. Me and my cousin, both 9, were driving in the desert. This is legitimately a desert, so it's sort of okay and regulated to drive it at such an age. I shit you not, on the way back, my cousin switched seats with me and pushed me into the driver's seat, but we were already in front of the house at that point, and I almost crashed. Dang, this thing looks cool though. I kind of want one of these. Dang, look at that. I was overtaking someone on an on-ramp. I was eventually going 20 kilometers an hour when I took him over. It was wet though, and I had to slow down really hard because there was a sharp turn. This is in a Volvo 740 with rear wheel drive, so I'm hitting the brakes and turning the corner. I suddenly see the road is supposed to be in front of me is in my left window. I continue to slide until I safely stop the vehicle. By now, I made a full 180 and see that the cars that were behind me are now in front of me like 50 meters away with 4 blinkers on. This took some time to process. I didn't hit a guardrail, not a single scratch on the car. Later on the highway, a guy signaled with a thumbs up to ask if I was okay. I signaled with a thumbs up back and smiled. This was a good lesson. Oh man, I'm glad you didn't crash that thing, dude. I'm so glad it was saved. That is nice. AI camera, bitch. I hope it was just for upscaling. By the way, Gassy, are you Goldek? I don't know who that is. My bad, bruh. So my friend next door bought a 1994 Bronco. It was not in the best shape, and this idiot didn't even bother to check the frame condition beforehand. So when I helped him check under the car, we noticed that the frame was completely rotted. Like, I'm talking, if you touch it slightly, it will crumble. So instead of selling the car for scrap or trying to get our money back, we just borrowed my dad's welder and welded bits of metal. Even about a year later, he still drives it like that. Sadly, I don't have any photos at the moment. That's okay, that's a funny story. A good friend of mine built up her budget for college and decided she wanted a fun car before she finished high school. We landed on a V6 New Edge Mustang. I helped her buy her a good one on Marketplace, but not even 2 weeks later, she crashed the car in the rain and it got totaled. Now today, she has a Miata and is thinking of getting a second car, a station wagon. I completely destroyed this girl's college budget with cars. God damn it. Oh, shit. Yeah, that blows. I'm glad she's got a Miata, and a station wagon is a very good choice. My 2004 Volvo V70R is my first car. That is a crazy first car, dude. That's awesome. It was hit by a delivery truck. Me and my dad saved it from being totaled. It was grandma driven. I love this car. I don't think I ever want to sell it or get an SUV. Yeah, dude, that is a really good car. Look at that thing. They got the Brembo brakes. These things are really nice cars. Watch my Volvo video. Crazy car related story. My toy car exploded because I got hit in a 900-mile-an-hour crash. Rip Lamborghini.
Crap. One time I flooded my 1.6 liter engine with 8 liters of oil. How the I was gonna go play soccer with some friends. On the way there, my engine started stalling. I stopped at a gas station and steam started to rise out from the bonnet. The coolant reservoir was overheating and I can only describe the coolant as liquid rust. I then filled my 1.6 engine with 8 liters of engine oil. I still feel dumb after doing that. I don't really understand why he did that. I decided to come back home, and as I did, I became a fog machine. Everywhere I went, my car left a thick trail of white and bluish smoke. People stared and told me something was wrong. I shit you not, I thought I was the carburetor. After clearly becoming an exhaust standard violation, I come past the General Cancer Treatment Hospital. I was trying to keep the most casual expression, but only managed to make that I screwed up smile. After driving more, I head home and take a knee. I didn't get to play soccer with the boys. Oh man. First thing I ever did with a car was an engine swap on my Subaru RS 2.5. Wow, that's a really nice car. This car got into 2 accidents, both with me stopped at a light and getting rear-ended. Luckily, the second time, it did nothing more than was already done. Later, my high-pressure gas line exploded. Gas all on the left side of my engine bay and almost burned to the ground. Now the car runs perfectly fine. Oh, we're clean though. We're clean. I love a 2.5 RS. That's beautiful. Oh, there it is. So you didn't like EJ swap it while you were at it? EJ 205? I'm not a Subaru guy. I don't know. I had my friend test my car after replacing the gauge. I let him drive and found this open stretch of road, and I told him to send it. After hitting the limiter, the whole exhaust from the header's back fell off. I had to drag the car back to my friend's place to fix it up. Free upgrade? Yeah, I think that's a free upgrade. So I was driving on the road, like I do, and there was this person going slow as shit in front of me. So I wanted to pass them on my motorbike, as I do. When I get back to my lane, they come up next to me and threw a drink cup at me and then cut me off and slammed on the brakes. I tried to go around them again and gave them an air jerk. What the fuck? I gave him an air jerk. That'll show him. Then they swerved into my rear tire and I lost control and proceeded to crash on a major arterial road, and they pulled over and I got up and lost it on them. And the woman driving said her husband's a cop and punched me in the face with my helmet on. Dumbass. So I punched her back and got all pissy and called the cops, and the biker cop was the one who showed up. Then she started lying and stuff. Luckily for me, a business nearby caught everything on a security camera. She got arrested for attempted vehicular homicide. I was uninjured but still got checked out. Love the videos, Gassy. Have a good day. I'm so glad you're okay. That is a crazy story, dude. So me and my family were on our way to a small town in California, just chilling and dying of heat stroke because of the summer heat, when some dumbass starts going hella fast in a BMW, and he's swerving left, right, up and down, and some shit like that until he hits someone and there's a crash and he flipped my grandma off, who was driving at the time. So yeah, he almost killed us too. I was in the garage and noticed my wooden parking blocks, which I used for reversing into my garage so I don't hit anything behind my car, were a bit off from their usual position. Instead of turning on my car and moving out of the driveway, I decided to simply push my car a little bit forward. However, I forgot that my driveway is a bit sloped. You can see where this is going. After putting my car in neutral and taking off the handbrake because I drive a manual, I ever so slightly shifted the car from the outside, resulting in the immediate downhill roll straight into my gate. The resulting damage was a large hole, shifted concrete, and splintered wood across the whole row. But my metal bumper is 100% fine. The video was recorded 5 minutes after the incident.
I shifted it too far and it rolled all the fucking way down here. There's a hole in the fence. That's not right. The whole thing's a little dented. Chief's fine though.
Back in my Russia, we were going to my grandma's house in a village. The roads in a Russian outside cities are almost always dirt roads. So we were driving on this different route that was faster or something, and then we see a ditch. We were driving a Nissan X-Trail with a CVT transmission. We decided to drive through the ditch and the CVT broke. Typical. After a couple minutes, a mini bus, Marshrutka, came behind us and tried to help, but the guy stuck. So yeah, after that we called my grandpa and he towed us both out with his UAZ 452. Nothing crazy, but still interesting, I would say. Yeah, that's super interesting. I need another Pepsi. One time, my friend installed an official tune from Ford Performance, which also included new spark plugs from Ford themselves, into his Ford Focus ST. And not even 5 days later, that shit blew the fuck up. Cylinder 1 was misfiring, and cylinder 4 had no compression, and at the same time started leaking and burning coolant. And this happened out of nowhere. The car only had 95,000 miles. Now we gotta swap the motor because it's cheaper and less labor intensive than doing doing a rebuild. Wow, that sucks. I was driving on the mountain back road near my house in my 2008 Mazda Speed 3. Let's just say I was on the edge of control with how fast I was going, and I noticed a car decently far behind me, but still visible. As I loomed closer to my slowdown point, the car behind me became noticeable. It was a damn cop car. How this fine individual did not pull me over is a story I will always tell. Okay, we're looking good. We're looking good. Finished detailing my girlfriend's mom's car. On the way home with all my equipment in the car, yellow Evo 5, I see an Aston Martin with his top down, and he urges me to keep up with him. Nonetheless, I begin to race with him. We're speeding down the highway. It's like 10 p.m. going 240 plus. I'm in 5th gear, and my car literally can't go any faster. The Aston Martin drops a gear and speeds past me. At this point, I know I can't keep up with the rich guy, so I begin to slow down. When all of a sudden, an SUV pulls in front of me. Now I have a choice: hit the SUV or swerve to avoid. I chose the latter. I wrecked my 1 of 600 yellow Evo. That is terrible. I got out with literally no injuries, but my methanol tank broke and seeped into my exhaust, causing a huge fire. Rip Evo, I love that car so much. I bought it for myself at 18. I now drive a JDM GR STI hatch. Guys, don't speed. I'm 22, turning 23 soon, and I don't condone what I did. It was stupid. I could have died and killed many other people. As a result, I lost my dream car and respect from a lot of people. What? No, you lost this thing? Fuck. That is so clean. Oh my god. That's brutal. I'm so sorry. So this story starts out with a guy named Devin, who was a truck driver in the middle of an ordinary long haul drive. He'd been driving across the country for hours on end, hauling freight. Devin was coming up to what looked like a regular stop along the highway, a small trucker rest area, but something wasn't quite right. As he pulled into the lot, he noticed that all the trucks seemed way too close to each other. In fact, some of the trucks seemed to be parked at odd angles, as if drivers weren't paying attention or maybe something was wrong. Devin thought it was a little bit weird, but he went to go park his rig and rest for a bit. Here's where it gets nuts. After a few minutes, Devin heard a loud thud, and then another, and then a massive roar. The ground started shaking, and Devin looked out of his truck's window to see another massive truck barreling down the lot, headed directly for his rig. He quickly realized the truck wasn't slowing down. He drove out of the cab just in time to avoid being crushed. The other truck driver, who had lost control, plowed into several parked trucks, knocking them all into each other like dominoes. When it was all over, the rest stop looked like a war zone. Several trucks were piled up and twisted in a mess. Devin was lucky enough to walk away, but it turned out the driver who caused the incident had been suffering from extreme fatigue and made a dangerous decision to keep driving without pulling over. What made this story particularly striking was how easy something like that could happen to anyone on the road. While it might have a touch of exaggeration, it's still one of those stories that gets told every time someone brings up danger of fatigue of driving. And yeah, for the record, Devin definitely survived, but that rest stop was never the same again. Crazy car related story, Dill. I desperately need a car, so I asked you guys, where should I look on Facebook Marketplace to find the perfect car for me? The United Kingdom, bruv. Toyota Hilux. Oh my god. Oh yeah, that is what. Oh wait, they don't have any front seats though. So we got a 2.4 liter turbo diesel Toyota Hilux. That looks beautiful. Please buy merchandise so I can import one of these. Please, I'll make a video about it if you do it. Ugh. No, what is that? What? It's a compact too? That's terrible. At least it's a 6-speed manual, but this thing looks like a piece of shit. What is this doing in the UK? Top speed Mach 2.5 plus? Combat proven performance? One owner? Okay guys, it's just 4.5 million pounds if you want one. Why are they selling it in weight? What the right, I gotta find a car right now. I don't need this bullshit all over my face. This is not helpful as a daily driver. What even is this for? Oh my god, what is that? I've never seen one of these before. I didn't know they had like nice Japanese cars in the UK. That's pretty sweet, right? What the fuck? Meat Life Farms? Oh no, I'm fucking dyslexic. What's that ladder for though? Oh wait, this thing is huge. They have never used this winch before. Oh yeah, that's more like it. I would be whipping around in the UK in one of these things, dude. Oh, the V12 as well. This thing is sweet. What? Was? Okay, what are we doing in the UK? This thing just looks goofy as shit. Are those oil slick headlight covers? Okay, this guy wants us to go to Agartha, which is like the middle of the earth or something. So let's go to Agartala, India. Oh my god, it's just all trucks. Ooh, now that looks like a nice Indian whip. Oh, look at that. It's a Mercedes. Wait, this thing is sweet.
What is this?
Okay, finally we got a reasonable candidate in what is this? It's in showroom condition in Schlong ML, whatever that is. Nice wheels though. Are those reps? I mean, this thing looks pretty sweet. Okay, I gotta get out of India. All right, brother, time to go to Kentucky. Okay. Wow, that is clean. Oh, this guy needs to upgrade his fucking storage plan. Is that the same picture, just not tilted? Why did you post that? Okay, well, anyway, this is pretty freaking tough. I don't know why that's there. What in the world? That is clean, though. Oh, what? I have an insane Mark IV super drag car or street car if you're not scared. Okay. Oh, what? Where'd the headlight go? Oh, shit. Wait, this thing is legit. This guy's not kidding. What in the world? That is, oh my god.
I cannot handle all that.
Wow, this is a pretty freaking sweet car, dude. Got the Recaro seats. Is that a fuel cell back there? Wow, dude. This is legit. This is very legit. What? We got the Ford Excursion XT the long way. The long way. 14 passenger stretch limousine. Wow. How do you even drive something like that? Oh my god. That is sweet. Yes, sir. Look at that. Wait, is this really a Mercedes? Why would you want this? You could flip all the way over and you'd be fine. That's crazy. Is this a golf cart? Is this actually a golf cart for fucking trenches? Wow. Wait, why do I really want one of these? Does this say jerk? Oh, jerkings? What? The jerkings truck. That's nasty. How we doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I'm just on my way to work.
Bring me a pizza after?
Hey, I didn't do that reading yesterday, so I gotta do it tonight.
I didn't understand how that's relevant to you bringing me a pizza. What the fuck? What the hell did I just find? Hold on, I just hit a clip.
Call you later.
Can I have a pizza? All right, I gotta get the fuck out of Kentucky. Where should I go?
Thailand?
I can't say that first one. Oh, that's in India. Bangkok. Damn! They got some nice cars. Oh, what the? This is sick. And a BMW E21. I wasn't even really aware of these. Wow. More subwoofers. What are we doing in Thailand? This is a crazy setup. This is like, no one needs this much fucking power. 7,000 watt max. Holy shit. Runs great. Won't respond to is this available. I'm a little rusty for this part. Okay, let's see what else you got in Thailand. What? Why is the Volkswagen like sideways? Wait, they know cars in Thailand. I didn't know about, I wasn't aware of your guys' car scene. This place knows ball. What? This thing looks quick. I need to tension that chain though. There's a little bit of sag. Damn. Oh, wow. That is, look at those welds as well. I'll give you $5 an hour.
Alfa Romeo.
If you don't know whose cat, please catch it. Time to go to Columbus, Ohio. Come on, load. There we go. Gosh darn, that looks pretty sweet. I hate the wing with a fucking passion, but I like the car.
Además, cuando ese carro se chocó, que te dije para sacar, yo nunca me he negado a pagarte.
That's crazy. Dude, this is actually some like Hispanic beef. I don't understand any of this. Is this about the car even? What the fuck? Oh my god, I'm gonna blur that. That's crazy. Oh. Wedge. Stop. Does this thing even drive? The passenger is the battery. This is a roller derby truck in the derby. The wheels are not on it. Bring your own wheels or buy these Jeep stocks for $50. No mutter, no tram in it at all. Roller only. Willing to negotiate, I need a gun as soon as possible. Yeah. I'm sure you do, bud. Okay, Columbus. This is what I'm looking for. Some kind of sport bike. Oh, yeah, that is a nice... That guy looks badass. He does not look closeted at all, I promise. Oh my god, neither does this guy. Look at that, that is mean. He even looks angry sitting on it. He's pissed. So is his wife. Ooh, dang. Ooh, crap. Shit. All right. But that's cool though. Like imagine if you could get one of these to haul your friends around. You pull up to their crib and they like just let the ramp down. It's like having a bridge over a moat or something. That's kind of badass when you think about it. Oh my god, that wasn't a fart. Oh, it's a cool bike though. Oh, look at those tiny ass wheels. What? Dude, this photo is aura. What? Oh, tonight. He's looking at me and his friend. Oh man, this thing looks like it was loved. Besides the little incident in the front. That sucks. All right, let's see what we got here. Marquez. Is this a joke? Long ass truck. What the hell? That's so inefficient, but that's cool though. Why do you need this in New York? I always forget that they have like empty land out in New York. Ooh. Oh, okay. We got a few to look through here. Okay. Nah, I can't help myself. I gotta look at this one now. What the fuck? This is straight out of Happy Wheels. Look at it. Oh my leg. That's disgusting. I love it though. Oh my god. Okay, the ones I wanted to look at were, wait, what the 52 racks for a PT Cruiser looking ass, whatever. Oh, 1JZ. Wow. I'd be too scared to actually drive it because it's so beautiful. Maybe when I am not broke as shit. Okay, what is this? Spray paint all over the place with a Jetta, and then this blue tip exhaust. Oh no. Oh, I'm selling my 2012 Volkswagen Jetta 2.5 SE 5-speed manual for $2,500 or best offer. Motor and transmission, tires are brand new. Custom exhaust if interested. Message me. $2,500 for any car is not that bad. What's something that I would actually buy though? Maybe I'll have to take a look at the Pimp Mobile. Very rare, but it's only $5,500. It's got a custom steering wheel. It's a V8. Ooh, this is pretty clean. Wait. Hey, oh, wait, that is a beautiful interior. Oh my god. If it got pillows too? Wait, this is $5,500? I might have to send this to a buddy of mine in New York. Wow, that's beautiful. All right, now to go to Iraq. Oh shit. Wait, we got some good selections over in Iraq. Very first one being this massive Hummer. This thing is like tank. Oh my god. In the name of Allah, the benefit from merciful, the BMW 330 V8 730 Li. So they make a 730, a 740. What is it? It's priced $105 and has room, God willing. That looks like a nice car. I'll stop looking at BMWs. I know you're probably sick of it. I just love them so much. All right, Iraq. Let's see. Ah, that's more like it. Yeah, you couldn't get these anywhere else. Free car. I'll take it. Is it actually? I buy any damaged car. Ah, at the price of pleasing God. Okay, man. I really wanted that. I thought it was a free Hellcat. Oh, man. This thing seems kind of beat up. I buy any damaged car at the price of pleasing God. Come on, man. Let me buy a damaged car. Oh, brother, this thing's dusty. I feel like he could have just taken a Swiffer to it before he took the pictures or something. Well, whatever. I know it's like dusty over there, right? Next, we're going to St. Louis. All right. We're in St. Louis. Not yet. It's loading. We're still in Iraq. There we go. Oh, where do you sit? Where do you sit? Wait, where do you sit?
Dang,
this thing's kind of stands out. I got some really nice negative camber. Clean. Dude, what are we doing in St. Louis? What? Wait, please be a video. Please. Datsun 280Z. Dang, this thing's mean looking, dude. I like it. Oh no. Oh
my, what happened?
That's cool though. It's just, I don't imagine these Jetta wagons stands out like this. I want to click it so badly, but I can't. I've looked at too many BMWs. I can't relapse. Oh, wait. Ooh, Honda Civic. No, anything. Oh, there's the engine. What the fuck? Why would I get this? Oh yeah. This is nice. Look at that craftsmanship on this bad boy. If it was only a manual, I love mini trucks. This is cool. This is actually so cool. Can you imagine dailying one of these and it was like cushy? Like imagine if you just tricked out the interior of this, made it beautiful, made the paint all nice and stuff on the outside. Dude, if this was clean, that'd be really nice. All right, well, I think St. Louis is all out of shit, so next. Wait, what the fuck? You can actually go to North Korea? No way. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, we got some options in South Korea. I swear I didn't choose this. We got that the E60 535, not bad. And what do we have here? Big ass truck. This piece of shit. God. And that's about it for South Korea. Okay. Monterey, California. I want to get one of these so badly. Can you imagine if everyone, like all of your friends have one of these and you just go drive around wherever the shit you want? That would be so cool. First gen Taco and then this Miata? Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like this. 21 racks is a lot though, but it looks like it was built well. Dude, I love diesel sedans. They're so nice. Oh my god, it's a hood stack as well. Wait, please, do they have a video of it driving? Oh, you asshole. The smoke comes out of there. It's so cool. 5% tint all around. That is brutal. At night, I'm sure it's hard to drive. Oh no, this poor Tacoma. How does it tow all of this?
What you doing with all that back there?
Wow, that's crazy. We got the Dodge Ram. 1964 Chevrolet something. Oh, it's a C10. There is really not much to the. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. I mean, If you have the tools, that'd be pretty cool. I'm sure Harbor Freight has something for that. Okay, now we're going to South Africa to see what they have to offer there. Boom. Okay, let's see. Whoa. Oh. Wait, what? Guys, find this person. Give me 2 bands. Dang, look at this thing. Red Line Race Work. Wow, this looks pretty sweet, dude. This is like legit. What is this? Based on the beautiful blue interior. Ah, that kind of gives it away right there. I'm guessing I'm gonna guess this is a E36 M3. Dang, this is nice. What is that? Is the engine like back there somewhere? Well, it's clean though. Oh yeah, wow, that's rusty. Never mind. Not clean. If you could have a lowered Hilux, I don't know if this is lowered, but like low sporty wheels and tires in a Hilux, I feel like that'd be so sick. Beautiful. No scammers, no chancers. Contact. We got golden coffee beans. Oh, it's just gold. Oh, what? That's way too cool, dude. Holy, South Africa is way ahead of the game. The accumulator. Wow, look at that thing. That would be so fun to have like a fucking race car like this. God damn, this thing is cool. Whoa, what is this? Why they got such cool trucks in South Africa? All right, next we got Sydney, Australia. 5 bands for E34. I just drove one of these today. What? This is nice, dude. If Australia wasn't so like freaky with the animals, I would definitely pull up for some car stuff. They have fire trucks in Australia. I thought they just use kangaroo. Ooh, okay. Dang, these things are beasts when it comes to the freaking rally shit. Wow, that's nice. That is nice. Some nice cars over here in Sydney. What the shit? What is this? A spider lift. That is freaky. That's cool though. I feel like I could use one of those for something. Only 135,000 Australian dollars. All right, we got another Land Cruiser. Nice. Oh, it's got the manual, but also all-wheel drive. That's cool. All right, next we're going to Newark, New Jersey. I don't mind this at all. I got one of these. That's clean. Dude, I love E91 so much. It's airlift as well. Ugh. What the f... Oh, it's just painting supplies. I thought it was like a hoarder's van or something. It looks like fucking stupid as well. Oh, what the fuck is this? We got the... I don't even know what the fuck to call this. Wait, is this a fucking niche? Like, is this a car scene? Oh, the little wind-up, bruh. New Jersey, what are we doing? Holy. Oh my gosh. Look at that big-ass turbo. This is nice. We got the Supra with a hatchback. Looks nice. NA engine, but I don't mind NA. Pretty chill. What is this? Does this say the Mini Warrior? No, Mazimo. That dude, that's sick. I like this. I feel like I'd be tough in this thing. Looks like it covers Tokyo. Wait, what? Tokyo has cars. What? Oh, what the fuck is this? Bruh. Okay, wait, hold on. Oh my god, and then we got the Toyota Chaser. That's clean. I don't love the body kit, not gonna lie, but it looks pretty freaking sweet. And the Stagia, I love these. This bed looks comfy. Oh, and it even expands in case you get fat. Wow, Tokyo has some really nice cars. Thanks for putting me on Tokyo. We got Mini Coopers in Tokyo. Wait, what is this? Why are golf cars so over the top these days? Okay, what do we need this for in Tokyo? What do we have? Man. Oh, wait. These are really shitty because they have the N20 engine, but dude, the chassis looks so nice. The dual exhaust back there as well. Yeah, wow, that's clean, but like, oh, the N20, oh. This is way too badass for Canada. Like, you pull up in this thing like, got any maple syrup, eh? Something like that.
That maple syrup looks like it.
I've never seen a CRV that looks like this. Why does it look so naked? Wait, what the hell? Oh, it's because it doesn't have the big tire on the back. Wait, no, this is like definitely weird. I don't know why. Whose ass is that right there? Oh my god, this thing is sick. Dang, they got some big machinery. What the this thing's massive. What the hell? 23,000 hours working. Holy fuck, this thing has been used. Okay, let's see some Chinese ball knowledge. I want to see something that's like badass as shit, like this. 718 came in for $198. 180 bike ball XR. Maybe I need to go somewhere else in China. All right, China, put me on some ball knowledge. Oh, damn, this thing's free. Is it free shipping though? That's where they get you. 138 racks for a Civic. Pretty clean though. It's got, ooh, some Recaro seats. They have these in China? I didn't know rednecks were in China.
Don't give a crap about none of this crap. crap. Hey.
What is this? Yo, what? It's got front suspension as well and rear suspension. What the fuck? Old man's legs are inconvenient. That's fucking awkward. Most first car videos will tell you to buy a boring ass car that you would probably hate. But today I'm gonna put you on game by giving you 20 cheap, reliable, and fast cars that you might not even know about. I know this one seems pretty basic, but the V6 Honda Accords are actually pretty badass. It's like a Civic the long way and reasonably quick from the factory. If you find one of these with a J35 engine, they can have somewhere between 240 and 280 horsepower stock. And it's Honda, so you can just bang the limiter all day. This thing is great for a first car, but if you want basically the same thing but a little sportier, you could go for the Acura TL Type S. I mean, just look at this thing. It's so clean and also comes with the J35. Although these cars are both front-wheel drive, the Acura comes with a limited slip differential, which is pretty badass for a first car if you ask me. If you're not looking for a cushy sedan and need something a bit more raw and adventurous, look no further than the Subaru Forester XT. I love the Subaru Forester XT. I think they can look slightly goofy, but otherwise it's a great choice for a first car. They come with a turbo 4-banger and can come with a manual transmission. Best of all, you get Subaru's all-wheel drive, which is really fun for the winter. These cars aren't the fastest by any means, but when done right, they can look super clean, drive nicely, and handle a lot of rally style stuff. Best of all, they're super cheap. I feel like this is one of the best options if you live in a place with kind of rough weather, or lots of dirt roads at least. These things can be built into awesome adventure cars, or you could just let your 1.8 GPA take over and slam it. If you'd rather stay on the asphalt and have a car that pulls really hard for no reason at all, then let me put you on the Ford Taurus SHO. I wasn't even aware of these cars until recently, but it quickly became one of my favorite cheap, fast, and reliable options. It's a little faster than cheap or reliable, but still an awesome option. It's like the faster and slightly more expensive version of the Accord V6. These things are absolute sleepers. They come with Ford's EcoBoost engines and make around 365 horsepower from the factory. Like, this thing does not look like it would pull like that. I think the only reason they're not too popular is because people don't love these engines. Even though they're pretty cool twin turbo V6s, I guess Ford decided to put the water pump in a pretty awkward spot, and a failure might leave you in generational debt. That being said, they look clean, they're super spacious, and no one would expect these things to make so much power. They're all-wheel drive, which is nice too. But just like the Accord, they're pretty fat sedans, which can be nice for a daily commute, but not really ideal for canyon carving. If you're looking for a more driver-focused car, like speed in the corners type of car, then let me put you on the FRS, BRZ, and GR86. There's a good reason 3 different companies produce the exact same car, because they're pretty awesome. These cars are somewhat cheap, reliable, and super well balanced, but they are about as slow as shit. Like, these cars are awesome, but actually so slow. If you enjoy speed through the corners, then one of these cars is definitely the option for you. I think they look really nice too. If you're ready to get into a pretty huge project, then making one of these cars fast would make it a perfect sport daily. If you like the idea of a nicely balanced chassis, but you don't really like the look or size of these things, then maybe you should consider a Honda Civic Si. The Civic Si is a classic. These cars are like Honda's M Lights. You can find some really good deals on the 8th gen Civic Si, and they're pretty fun cars considering the price and reliability. These engines can rev really high, and they come with a 6-speed manual transmission, so you can just row through gears on the back roads. Trust me, dude, you can't even blow this shit up if you try. I don't know what Honda was smoking, but this is definitely made out of netherite or something. These cars have tons of aftermarket support because it's a Civic, so you're not going to be spending hours on a 15-year-old forum trying to find cool stuff to put on it. These things aren't anything crazy, to be honest, but it's a really good option for a solid sporty daily. If you really don't like front-wheel drive because your ego just can't handle it or something, maybe you should try to find a good deal on a 2.5 RS. Are you interested in driving an X Rally Champion, a car with an engine that just won't blow up, with a manual transmission and 50-50 split all-wheel drive? Me too, and I have before. These things are awesome. They're not going to gap anything faster than a stock Honda Odyssey, but these cars just feel so nice to drive. If you take this thing up a gravel road, you'll understand why this car was a rally champion back in the day. And I think they have one of the best looking front ends from Subaru. Like, the car just looks so mean. These cars are becoming hard to come by for a reasonable price though, unfortunately. If you find a good deal, it's an awesome pick. But if you're in a pinch and you can't wait around for some grandpa to sell their 2.5 RS for a good price, then the Mazda Speed 3 might be a good option for you. There's absolutely no shortage of these cars, and you can find them for a very good price very fast. I never thought too much of the Mazda Speed 3, but then my friend let me drive his, and these things are no joke for the price. They're pretty reliable, cheap up front, and super fast for what it is. They come with over 260 horsepower stock, but can easily be flash tuned to make over 300. They can actually start making some pretty dumb power if you're interested in doing an intake, downpipe, intercooler, and all that other junk. Other than it being front wheel drive, they're super fun. I feel like you usually see annoying people driving these cars, but if you can somehow come across as chill while driving one of these, it's an awesome choice. If you really just can't get past the front wheel drive, then luckily you can get the exact same car with all wheel drive. I mean, it's a little bit different and slightly more expensive and slightly harder to come by, but the Mazda Speed 6 is kind of perfect. If you can get one of these as a first car, you're gonna be a very happy person. They have the exact same engines, nice all-wheel drive, and can also be found with manual transmission. This car seems like a pretty sweet daily, but if you'd like the same thing for cheaper and with a nicer sounding exhaust note, definitely consider the Volvo V70R or S60R. I don't even know if I want to put you guys on this one because I might want to buy one before I artificially inflate the market by accident. Volvo decided to produce such a badass car for absolutely no reason at all. They made the S60R, which is a sedan, and the V70R, which is a wagon. These cars are the same otherwise. They come with 300 horsepower stock, powered by a turbo 5-cylinder engine, making one of the most unique and badass exhaust notes that you will ever hear. On top of all that, they can come with a manual transmission with a super weird spaceball shift knob, but I kind of f with it. These things are absolutely overbuilt as well. There is stitched leather everywhere, even in the bottom of the door cards. They also have really cool adjustable suspension, and there are these 3 buttons in the middle of the dash that say Comfort, Sport, and Advanced. You can simply click the drive mode you want to be in, and it'll adjust the suspension. If you get an automatic, it'll also change the transmission timing, which is pretty cool. These things have tons of room for hauling friends around and plenty of power for some fun pulls. Okay, now time for some drawbacks. They have a really wide wheelbase, which makes these things kind of feel like land yachts a little bit. I've heard they have pretty loose steering as well, and they're pretty heavy. It's not gonna beat a 3 Series in the corners by any means, but as a sporty daily with plenty of power, it's an awesome option. Also, they have slightly rough aftermarket support, being kind of niche and stuff. Another great thing about these is that it's usually old people selling them who never got to drive them too hard. And they also just think it's an old Volvo, so you can sometimes come across them for a pretty good deal. I would personally pick this car over the Accord V6 or the Taurus SHO. All these cars are a bit niche though, so you might not find as much aftermarket support as you would with an Infiniti G37. The G37 pisses me off though. I understand the hype, I guess. They make good power, they're reliable, and as long as you don't make it look or sound like a trumpet, then they're pretty cool too. I still don't like them, but I just can't say they're bad cars, unfortunately. VQ engines are good, and their chassis is very well balanced for a sedan, and when done right, they can look really nice. If you'd like to see one of these cars in person before buying one, just go to any 4-way intersection at 3 a.m. Just like the last few cars I talked about, these things are pretty big sedans, so I think now is a good time to mention the RX-8. The Mazda RX-8 is a funny one to me. I think they're kind of goofy looking, at least when people put fangs on them, and unfortunately, they're not amazing cars. So why am I mentioning them at all? They're super unique and really cool for a first car. These cars have extremely rev-happy engines, and the car handles incredibly well. And it's a 4-door sports sedan since it has those weird half doors at the back. While this car does have a pretty cheap entry price for what it is, these rotary engines are not very reliable. It's a very good first sports car, but maybe not a very good first car. I think something more fitting as a first car and as a first sports car would be a BMW E46. If you can find an E46 330 Ci for a reasonable price, then definitely go for it. Otherwise, any other E46 is pretty cool too. Every engine to ever come in an E46 has been pretty bulletproof besides the cooling system in some of them. These cars look awesome and are so well balanced. The E46 is a lot of people's favorite generation M3, and the greatness of that M3 trickles down into the base models, especially the 330 Ci. They feel super raw to drive, and the engines are pretty straightforward to work on. And these things can be stupidly cheap. Also, the aftermarket support for these cars is insane. They're not the fastest cars, but far from slow, and have a lot of potential to make good power. If you like BMW, but just want something slightly newer for some reason, try going for an E92 328i. For me, this one is pretty close to the E46 330 Ci. It's super nice. You might wonder why I'm suggesting a 328 over a 335 when they cost about the same up front. It's because the N52 can absolutely rip reliably, while the 335 would put a hole in the turbo and your wallet. As long as you find this car with any transmission other than the GM, you're gonna have a lot of fun. Ideally manual, of course. The N52 is probably the best non-M, naturally aspirated straight six that BMW has made. It's annoying because it's really plasticky and doesn't have a dipstick, but it's just such a good engine otherwise. It's kind of hard to build power with these things, but people are starting to realize how great these engines are, so the aftermarket support is getting a lot better. I don't mean to say the N54 is terrible by any means. If you can find a clean 335 with low miles and driven by an older person, you're good to go. Like 300 horsepower stock, and then stupid power with pretty basic mods. If you go with a 335, be sure to upgrade from the stock turbos. The E92 is really well balanced and can look super nice as well. Basically any other chassis from that generation is great too, but they can either be really heavy or really cramped. And that's why I think the E92 is a good sweet spot. It's important to mention that it's basically required to do your own maintenance with any BMW. If you go to a mechanic instead, be prepared to pay the BMW tax on literally everything. If these cars aren't in your budget but you like the German engineering, maybe consider a Volkswagen Golf GTI. You can find a Mark V GTI for a really reasonable price, and these things are freaking sweet. They come with a turbo 4-cylinder engine, which makes decent power, and they come with a 6-speed manual. There's a really good reason that everyone buys these things. It's because they're awesome. They're a little small, but a good size for a daily, and they're not like Mini Cooper small or anything, but maybe not as big as the Mazda Speed 3. Anyway, it's a very solid choice for a first car. I know some people are still pissed about all those turbo 4-cylinder engines and front-wheel drive, so maybe you guys need to look into the IS300. Do you want a 2JZ? Are you as broke as shit? This is basically the only option for you. These cars are pretty badass, they look nice, and they have 2Js. Alright, hop off Marketplace, bud. These are the NA 2Js, which are still pretty cool, but not the ones with all the hype. The first gen IS300 is a solid choice for a first car because it's got that Toyota reliability, Lexus comfort, and they're reasonably cheap. They're not the most fun cars to drive compared to the other things on this list, but they're super good, comfortable daily drivers. Sometimes you can find these things with a 5-speed manual, but you're most likely going to find an auto since Lexus just likes to be annoying for the sake of it. I've talked a lot about coupes and sedans, but maybe some of you just want a crazy first car shout for hauling friends around. Have you considered the Honda Odyssey? I'm dead ass. Minivans are awesome first cars, and the Honda Odyssey is one of the better ones. This one is definitely cheap and super reliable. While it isn't fast at all, you would make up for it by tossing two 12-inch sundowns in the trunk and comfortably hauling all of your friends around. Maybe even put a Starlight headliner up. If you want to be an idiot, you could probably boost this thing reasonably reliably, and the whole build would still cost less than basically anything else on this list. If you make this thing fast and drive it in a straight line, then it would actually be pretty cool. Enough fooling around though, I need to mention the E36 at least once. It wouldn't be a good video without it. The BMW E36 is very similar to the other two BMWs that I put on this list, but I think it's one of the nicer looking ones. They also have an insanely well-balanced chassis and can be built up into any type of car you want them to be. Lots of people drift these cars, so if that's something you might want to get into, it's a really good option. It's kind of hard to find these in reasonable condition, but if you do, get that thing, dude. Actually, if you're gonna drift one of these, please get a shit one. Don't ruin another good looking E36. I'm putting this one in with the other two BMWs because I think it's the most raw out of the three. If you want a raw sport daily, go with the E36. These cars handle incredibly well, but definitely not as well as the Honda Fit. If you're looking for a car that you could actually bring to the track every day and not break, get one of these. The Honda Fit is completely glued to the ground. I don't even know how they did it. Actually, I do. Honda just decided to put the engine and transmission stupidly low on this car, which made it able to corner insanely well. Also, the short wheelbase helps with the handling too. They aren't the most beautiful looking cars, but everyone loves these things. If you go to any track ever, there's definitely going to be a Honda Fit somewhere in the front. They're dirt cheap, dumb reliable, and dirt fast. Yeah, they're really not that fast in a straight line, but the speed will carry through the corner. They're kind of small though, and not boosted from the factory, unlike the Saab 9.3 Aero. The Saab 9.3 Aero is reasonably cheap and really cool. They're not that popular, so you can actually get some good grandma deals on these things. And better yet, they're powered off a turbo 4-banger. They look a little bit goofy, but also not really. Like, they look goofy in a badass way in my opinion. Also, you get niche points for driving one of these because Saab doesn't even exist anymore, which also means the aftermarket support is a little bit rough, but it's not terrible by any means. Anyway, I think it's it's time to drop my final drip of sports car ball knowledge. The Eclipse GST. You can actually find some of these for a reasonable price, but they're almost always going to be run through a little bit. I'd be willing to pay that price for a cool car though. They look awesome, they're pretty quick, and it's like Fast and Furious. Awesome. These cars are super well balanced, they look great, and sound cool. They're just a really solid sporty option in my opinion. They're pretty small cars for a daily driver, but still a great option. If you want to see a clean example of one of these, be sure to watch my ranking cars videos. Sometimes people just do some shit to their cars that pisses me off. I know I'm supposed to respect all builds or whatever, but how am I supposed to respect some shit like this?
Lord have mercy.
Today, I'm going over 20 different car trends that piss me off, getting worse and worse as the video goes on. I know the dudes driving Stan's cars are having the time of their lives, but personally, I think they just look like butt. That much camber has zero function, and the whole build just ends up being expensive for the sake of it. I think the only good thing about Stan's cars is that they're probably so fun to drive. Not like in a fun, sporty way, but more in a life or death type of way. Just like with Pavement Princess trucks. When I see a massive lifted truck with huge chrome rims and then thin tires, it pisses me off. Some dude living paycheck to paycheck is definitely facing a six-figure loan for this thing, and then went out of their way to make it useless by putting some pretty wheels on it. Also, the dudes driving these things are so annoying. I feel like I'm gonna get steamrolled whenever I'm driving in front of one of them. I think these new massive trucks are pretty stupid in the first place. They're way too big for the road. The bed size is the same as it was in the 90s, and they just seem like a whole lot of cope. In my humble opinion, old trucks just do things better. Putting shiny wheels on big new trucks like this feels like regular traffic putting non-functional aero on their shit. I was at Walmart the other day, and in the parking lot, I saw this stock Toyota Camry with that one universal eBay wing. That shit doesn't really piss me off, but it's just sad. Like, that wing just made your car slightly slower and looks slightly awful. Most cars you see day to day don't need aero, which is why it pisses me off. I think side skirts, a front splitter, and a rear diffuser all look pretty cool. Even a small OEM wing can be cool too. But those massive wings or huge front splitters that are just held up by fake supports look really weird to me. Aero is like the cherry on top for most fast cars, so I think it's funny to see slow stock cars with a bunch of plastic bullshit all over them. It's these exact same cars that will have some Amazon window louvers and a headlight scratch sticker. I feel like shitty window louvers look like an eyelash extension that's falling off. They just look like dog ass in my opinion. Louvers can actually look nice on some cars, maybe, but if you get just the stick-on louvers off Amazon for your 2022 base model Civic, it looks super weird. Shitty window louvers are typically paired with those headlight scratch stickers.
What the fuck are those even supposed to be?
Like, do you want me to think your car lost a fight with a cat, or is it just a Monster Energy promo type of thing? Those stickers are the most tacky mod that you could possibly do to any car ever. Chrome deleting cars can be tasteful, don't get me wrong. When I bought my BMW, the dude who owned it before me deleted the chrome, and it looks so much nicer than stock. But with my Mini Cooper, the guy who owned it before me tried deleting the chrome with Plasti Dip, and that shit looks like actual poop from a butt. I ended up ripping off as much Plasti Dip as I could because the chrome on the Mini Cooper looks really nice, and that should have never been covered up with that plastic bullshit. Chrome deletes do piss me off, but it depends on the car. It can actually look good. Just like DIY clear taillights. Clear taillights actually look really nice on some cars, as long as you have red bulbs to keep that shit legal, of course. It kind of slightly really pisses me off when people just hit their shit with a hammer to make DIY clear taillights.
Like, actually, what the hell are we doing?
If you just go buy an extra set of taillights, remove the red, and install a clear cover over them, it can be really cool. Just whacking that shit with a mallet and calling it a day is weird to me though. If you don't do this mod correctly, not only does it look bad, but it also completely blinds the people behind you. A few months ago, I was driving behind someone with DIY clear taillights at night, and every time this dude hit the brakes, I got flashbanged. And it's significantly worse than getting high beam. At least when someone's high beaming you, you can can kind of figure out a way to look at the road still. When someone's taillights turn your windshield white every time they brake, it's so annoying. Not only is it annoying as shit, but you're also stuck behind these people. At least when you're getting high beamed at night, it's only for a few seconds, but the DIY taillights have you trapped. Maybe this is the escape method of all time. Well, anyway, this mod looks good on some cars, but it also kind of reminds me of DIY fender rolling. If you're gonna roll your fenders for better fitment, there are 3 ways to do it, and there's only one correct option. Some people will stick a baseball bat between their tire and fender and then roll it, and 90% of the time it looks like shit, and your fenders look like bacon afterwards. Another option is to lift the car with a jack, put a book under the tire, and then drop the car. I'm not sure if Isaac or Newton came up with that idea, but that shit also makes your car look horrible. The only correct way to roll your fenders, if you really need to, is to buy a fender roller. You put that shit on the hub, the roller goes on the fender, and just like that, you have perfectly rolled fenders. If you're trying to work around that shit, it pisses me off a little bit. Like, actually, don't mess up your fenders because that shit gets expensive. I'm talking about being careful rolling fenders, but some people just actually cut their fenders off. That shit actually pisses me off. Some people want to install a body kit or something on their car where they need to cut the fenders to make it fit, and that shit looks bad in my opinion. My friend got this car with a horrible looking body kit on it. He took the body kit off only to find that the stock 240SX fenders had been brutally mutilated and destroyed. If you actually have a really good reason to cut the fenders, I get it, but that is not a project to half-ass like this previous owner did. If you're considering messing your shit up for some reason, I'd advise you to look up the repair cost for a rear quarter panel. That crap is actually atrocious. Another car trend that pisses me off way too much is BMW M grills. This one is the least tasteful thing you could do to a BMW in my opinion. Colorful plastic right on the front of the car is just so tacky. Same goes for those fake M puddle lights, M stripes on the hood, M performance just painted everywhere. 9 times out of 10, BMWs with all of these badges are just 328i's. These same 328i's will also have massive flame kits installed. Flame kits need to come to an end. If your car shoots flames on its own, then that's great, dude. I'll give you a special star pin or something. But if you have a barbecue propane tank in your trunk and just hit a button to make a massive flame come out of your exhaust, you need to drive straight to the junkyard and sell that shit. I don't see why people would want to just ignite everything behind their car. It's always the slowest cars with flame kits as well. The only time these things are cool are in the Kmart parking lot during the 1.8 GPA car meet. Even then, no one thinks it's cool because they can just hear the sound of propane shooting out of the car. It's literally the same idea as those stupid TikTok shop turbo whistles that people put on their exhaust. Have you seen those? I mean, have you heard those? They sound like complete shit, and a lot of people have them. You just clamp an actual whistle to your car's tailpipe to make up for not having a turbo. Like, okay, cool, whatever. At least it makes cool turbo noises, right? Not at all, dude. It just sounds like fucking tinnitus coming out of the exhaust. You might as well strap a harmonica to the hood to make supercharger noise. I think one of the biggest car trends that needs to end isn't about cars at all. It's those people that think they're cars for some reason. Even if the law says so, you're not a car, dude. When I'm driving to work early in the morning, I don't want to be looking out for an old dude in tights in my blind spot. Maybe the bikes themselves aren't that bad, but the entitlement of the riders is laughable. For some reason, they think the road was paved for them. How do we get to this point? To be fair, the bike lanes in my area are pretty terrible. There are bike lanes that just cross over 2 lanes of traffic for no reason at all. I don't know what the city planner was thinking, but it wasn't the right thought. Shitty burble tunes are really funny to me. I was in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru the other day, and this kid in front of me with a clapped BMW was just randomly stepping on it so we could hear his awful burble tune. Burbles can be cool if they're just natural or pretty tame, but hearing someone's car actually explode every time they let off the gas pisses me off. To make things worse, the Chick-fil-A drive-thru line took like 2 hours to get through, and that that dude was just making his N63 nearly blow up every time the line moved just for the sake of it. The cherry on top was that he tried to put a fake M badge on that thing. Up badging your car has to be the worst car trend of all time. Like, bro, I can see that SRT badge is falling off. That shit is not from the factory. Seeing a 320i with an M3 badge is so funny. Like, why did that thought even cross your mind? There's a chance that maybe you fool someone who doesn't know cars for half a second, but the moment you pop the hood, I better see an S58. Debadging is a different story though. Sometimes cars just look better without the badge at all, so I get it. Down badging is really cool on the other hand. I think it's so funny when people stick a 325i badge on a big turbo 335i or something. I'll just randomly see a slow looking car scoot down the highway and it's so funny.
What the fuck was that?
Unlike bumper stickers, there have been very few times that I've seen a bumper sticker that actually makes my day better. Sometimes there's an off chance that a bumper sticker is funny, but usually not. If I'm stuck behind a lifted truck after an 11-hour shift and they have a bunch of bumper stickers yapping about some actual dog shit, I'm gonna be pissed off. But those bumper stickers aren't nearly as bad as the ones on Subaru Outbacks parked at like Whole Foods or something. The bumper stickers I see at Whole Foods just make me feel like I'm an awful person. I'll look left and see a bumper sticker talking about how they ran 2,000 miles in one day to support cancer research. I'll look right and there's a bumper sticker talking about how they personally saved the local library from a fire or some shit. The lifted truck dudes, on the other hand, just need to remind me how scary they are by putting a Monster Energy sticker next to a Punisher sticker. Seeing that stuff is annoying, but not nearly as annoying as seeing someone driving their automatic car like it's a manual. I feel like I've seen a lot of videos where people are driving an automatic car, then trying their absolute hardest to make it look like a manual. They'll have their hand on the shifter as if they're about to do something. Like, dude, the car is already doing all the work for you. You can just keep your shit at 10 and 2. These dudes randomly put it in neutral just to make some extra noise as well, and it's just so weird to me. If your automatic transmission has paddle shifters or sequential shifting, then I get it, but half the time messing with the automatic transmission just makes you slower. Luckily, this trend seems to be on its way out, but cutting up has to be one of the worst car trends of all time. Cutting up single-handedly gave the car community a bad reputation from like 2022 until now. You never see someone cutting up in traffic and wonder if it's a scientist or an engineer. You just immediately know it's an idiot. Cutting up isn't a new thing at all, but for a while it became a weird trend to put some random ass people in danger by flying past them at double the speed limit. You would see streamers and YouTubers sitting in cars with these guys while they just put their foot on the ground and pretend they know what they're doing. I'd pay a solid $10 to see any of these guys drive on a track. I feel like that would be the most funny video ever. They would either put down some pretty reasonable times, or they would just smash their stolen cars into a barrier. These dudes who cut up also have some nice ass cars. They steal a car from a random dealership, cut up for like 30 minutes, put the car in a top secret garage, then list it on Facebook Marketplace talking about some
"don't ask for title, if you know, you know."
I mean, it's tempting to see a Hellcat for like $500. Speaking of which, the used car market has to be one of the worst trends ever.
How long are you financing for? Life. For life.
This shit is so bad. How did it become a trend to actually list your used car for the price of a down payment on a house? Obviously, it depends on what the car is, but some of these prices are just not in touch with reality whatsoever. I've been seeing some actual dog shit when it comes to something like a beat up E36. These cars will have 0 interior, 20 owners, 0 oil in the engine, and the owner will confidently ask that you spend 10 racks on this piece of garbage. Then the description on these listings is talking about grandma driven, garage kept. Like, dude, the hood doesn't even line up with the bumper. This thing has been completely run through. I feel like if you see an absurd listing like this and then just ask if they'd take $1,500 on a Red Bull, it usually works. It's like they didn't even expect to sell their car for $10,000 in the first place. They just wanted to see if it would work somehow. If you see a bullshit marketplace listing like this, don't cave, dude. It's not worth it.